Okay. I cannot. Okay. Well, I'll mess with that later. Oh. Okay. It's crazy. That's crazy. You know what's even crazier about that? You know what's crazier about that raid? Do you want to know what's crazier about that raid? Good morning, everybody. Would a prince have 75 golden camels? I think he would. He's got 53. Exotic mammals. He's got a zoo. I'm telling you, it's a world-class menagerie. They were on loan. It's crazy. He doesn't even charge a fee. Servants and flunkies. Prince Ali. I proved my point. I won. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here on this Thursday, even though that is some Friday shenanigans. Welcome in, guys. Can we start doing all of the good things over here on TikTok? Thank you so much for the fake Prince ID raid, but you lost. It's fine. Ali isn't even his name. It's a nickname. Can we tap that screen over here? We like to get to 50,000 likes before we hit 11 o'clock within that first hour. So I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. And let's... God, I can't even focus. Share the live out. You can repost it. You can add it to your story. You can share it to 5 of your friends. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. If you do your daily heart me, it's going to be right up there. It's that golden heart up there. If you don't see a golden heart, that means you need to follow me. And then you need to hit that golden heart and you get access to stickers in the comments. as well. So you can do that. And don't forget to work on my little goal. I think I have the roses up right now. Yes. If you were watching over on YouTube, hello, guys. If you would like to hit that thumbs up button for me, I would appreciate it. It does help push us onto the algorithm for those who are brave enough to actually want to call in and have a conversation. You can also send super chats over there and become a member. You can send jewels and donations and gifts. Hi over there on Twitch. I see you guys. Welcome in. Guys, remember, if you are paying for Prime, you get one free Prime sub a month, and you can use that to subscribe to me, or you can subscribe on your own, and you also will get access to stickers over there as well. And you guys can send bits, fun things as we get started. And guys, I have my I was about to say, I have 9-0 left in my goal because Dan sent me 10 this morning. Thank you so much, Dan. W's Dan for that. So we have 9-0 left in my goal to start the day. Let's start working on getting that down. I have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link trees in my bio, and we can get that going today.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, he sent me money on his birthday, and if you guys have not said happy birthday to Dan, please make sure that you do so in the chat, please. I would appreciate it. Okay. Well, who's texting my Google number? Okay, I think they're texting my Google number after watching my video. That's an interesting thing to do. Sure. Dan is 65 today. Yeah, that's what happened. I'm sure that's what happened.
Wild.
All right. I'm going to get started with this little bit of breaking news. It's really not that big of a deal. To me, at least. I don't give a fuck. But then we can get started on some other stuff as we get the day going. So let's just make sure we're doing all the good things as we're sitting here, guys. Ex-National Security Advisor John Bolton will plead guilty in classified information case, according to an AP source. It's being reported everywhere else, though, unless they're just reporting AP, but... Former Trump administration National Security Advisor John Bolton has agreed to plead guilty to a single count of retaining classified information under a deal with the Justice Department that could allow him to avoid prison time, a person familiar with the matter said Thursday. The deal would resolve a criminal case filed in October that charged Bolton with 18 counts of either retaining or disseminating classified information, including diary-like notes from his time in government that officials say he shared with his family members as he was preparing a memoir about his time in office. Under the agreement, Bolton could face a $2.25 million fine, said the person, who insisted on anonymity to discuss a deal that had not been made public. Any prison sentence would be capped at 5 years, but the agreement allows for him to avoid time behind bars, though the punishment will ultimately be up to a judge. I know the bleep is returned. I didn't turn it off. The case against Bolton, filed weeks after prosecutors secured indictments against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James, unfolded against the backdrop of concerns that the Justice Department was using its law enforcement powers to pursue perceived adversaries of President Donald Trump. The investigation burst into public view last August when FBI agents served search warrants at his Maryland I don't know why it says home and Washington office, but had been well underway by the time Trump returned to the White House in January of 2025. Bolton is a longtime fixture in Republican foreign policy circles who became known for his hawkish views on American power. He served for more than a year in Trump's first administration before being fired in 2019 and publishing a critical book that portrayed the Republican president as deeply misinformed and painted an unflattering portrait of his leadership and decision-making. Trump's administration fought unsuccessfully to block the publication of The Room Where It Happened on the ground that the book risks disclosing classified information. The plea deal that Bolton will enter covers the notes he shared with relatives as opposed to information published in the tell-all book. So again, the initial reason why they went after John Bolton, which I don't care because I've never been a John Bolton fan, obviously. He worked in the administration at one point in time, I guess, found a conscience and decided that he was going to go against him. But the entire reason they went after him was because he wrote a book that went after Trump. That's really the entire reason. So even then, the plea deal is only addressing a single count, and it's addressing notes he shared with relatives, not what was actually published in the book. A rearraignment, which typically signals a plea agreement, is scheduled for June 26 in federal court in Greenville, Maryland. The Justice Department declined to comment. The indictment's 18 counts carried a threat of a substantial prison sentence in the event of conviction. Court documents allege that he shared with two family members diary-like entries with information classified as high as top secret that he had earned from meetings with other U.S. government officials. From intelligence briefings or talks with foreign leaders, after sending one document, Bolton wrote in a message to his relatives, none of which we talk about. In response, one of his relatives wrote, "Shh, you're not supposed to do that." Just like when Donald Trump shared information that he said, as president, I could have classified this. Now I can't. Go after all of them if they're sharing classified information. I don't have any issue with that. But go get them. Okay. Let's see. I need to get to that, but I think I'm going to wait. Oh, God. Should we do this? All right. We're going to one of my least favorite things to do, as much as you all say that I love to talk about Trump. I actually really don't. I talk about his administration and what he's doing policy-wise. I don't like to talk about actually him and the things he says, but we are going to go over this. So, there had been issues again with the fact that he went to his fourth physical in a year and a half, and he kind of went missing again. We hadn't seen him live, hadn't seen him doing press pools, anything like that. So he went out and he did do an interview, which we can talk about. Truth teller, you're not even from here. Go away. You're not even from here. Let's see where I want to start with this. I guess we'll start at the top. He's asked about, which by the way, his eye looked better yesterday, but his eye looked swollen as fuck in this interview. Not great. Yep, X, I have that one on here as well. He's not a king, he is the president, because we don't have a monarchy in the United States of America. I know that you are part of a commonwealth, and so you still have a monarchy, but we do not here in the United States. So this is Donald Trump talking about how good things are going with Iran, and that he'd meet with the Ayatollah.
So who's making the decisions?
Well, they say he is giving approval because that's the way it has been for a long, long time. His father and then him. I guess it's a succession.
By the way, it was terribly swollen. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but
we seem to be getting.
Blue. Guys, if you want to send me like $30, we can take away Blue's mod powers for the day. Just
Do it! Do it!
Along quite well.
Would you like to meet him or meet any of the Iranians in person?
I've never thought of it, actually. It's a very good question. I'll think of it. Yeah, I'd like to meet him. I like to meet everybody. I'd like to meet him. We probably will meet at some point, depending on how it all works out.
Thinks he's going to meet with the Ayatollah? I don't think he's going to meet with you. You're not even meeting with his representatives or the representatives or whoever the fuck's in charge, because you don't even know. And then he's asked about the blockade and whether he thinks the blockade will still be in place and how long.
Having a very great success in Iran militarily.
So you think the blockade will still be in place by Labor Day?
I don't know. I mean, I think it could be, but I think it's unlikely. I think that we'll have it. I think this will.
It could be. Even that, though. Oh, God, I can't. I'll turn it off. How are you thinking that it's going to be, the blockade's still going to be in place Labor Day? Labor Day? Where the fuck was that? Let me do. Nope. I don't want anything to do with that. Hold on. I know what he said. He said volume mixer and then the fucking thing, but I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, I can't switch it off while I'm live. You guys are just gonna have to deal with it. Cracked pipe. Okay.
Will resolve itself fairly quickly. Having a very great success in Iran militarily.
But still, possibly could have the blockade of the blockade until Labor Day, which, by the way, in case you don't know, is in September. So that's not good. That's bad.
Wake me up when September fucking ends.
Jesus Christ. W's to Chicky. W's to Chicky for the $30 for, you know what? For the chaos. Damn, Blue. Damn, Blue! I'm gonna lose my mod powers in his space now. That's what's about to happen. Thank you so much, Chicky. Wow. God. George, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can I get your age and what state you voted in?
33, and I'm from Florida.
Okay, why are you still supporting Trump?
Because he's basically got the world by the fucking cojones, right? We rely
he?
on the Middle East for 20% of the world's oil.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've just completely closed the strait, cut off the Middle East completely. Their Arab nations are now screwed. We're going to get oil from Russia, Venezuela, Canada, and we're going to ramp up oil production here. So we no longer need the Middle East, and the Middle East is going down the shithole. I love it.
We closed the strait?
We control the strait, yeah. We have an aircraft carrier. Multiple aircraft carriers there right now.
That's interesting because that's not even what
China's coming to us for oil. China wanted to get out of...
I'm so glad you have so much impulse control and that you're an adult. No, because even Marco Rubio says that they were the one that blocked the strait. Iran was the one that closed the strait.
Okay, but regardless, it's closed, and that's a positive. The longer it's closed, the better it is.
Oh, yeah. How's that going for the oil market right now?
We're in a temporary shift right now, so once Venezuela gets ramped up, Russia's going to provide oil to us. China is now coming to us for oil as well.
We have sanctions on Russian oil. Why would we want to buy Russian oil to allow them to keep funding terrorist groups that
we're going to lift that restrictions, and Western civilizations are going to dominate in the oil field.
They have to congressionally do that. Right now, all they're able to give them is temporary waivers to relieve
China and Japan and other countries wanted to leave the U.S. petrodollar and go back to a gold standard, and now they're fucked and they can't do that because they're so heavily reliant on us because they own they own majority of our bond and our dets, and they wanted to switch out, but now that they need our oil, they're fucked. So we're basically getting rid of the control that the Middle East and the Arabs had over us. And we're going to be completely independent. It's amazing.
That's your thought, but that's not the administration's.
It's the same thing with Russia, Russia was getting drones from Iran, and now they're building their own drones and selling them.
That's not the administration's thought, because Donald
Western civilization will flourish and the rest will fall.
Donald Trump has repeatedly said that they need to open the strait. They need to get the strait open. They need to open the strait.
No, he's purposely losing the war on purpose.
This is the pretzel and the cope that you all have twisted yourself into now, is that he's losing on purpose.
Because Canada's going to ramp up their oil production. We're ramping up our oil production. Venezuela's getting off the ground.
Oh, are you Banana Republic?
And then Russia's going to do the same.
This is Banana Republic.
It's fine. It's gone. It's fine. I don't need him anymore. I'm just going to clip that. He's losing on purpose. That's cope. That's some cope.
That's more than cope. That's just genuinely lying to oneself to feel better.
He's losing on purpose.
Also, George Esther, Banana Republic, Team Trump, whatever your name is, that likes to harass specifically Queen and Bill. I hope you know people know who you are. So
you got dropped because, one, you do not stop speaking. I'm trying to push back on the things that you're saying, and you refuse to stop speaking. And also, that's just cope. All right. So Donald Trump talked about the fact that a lot of Americans are anxious and confused about what's going on with Iran, because again, he keeps going back and forth to, we don't need the strait at all. We don't need the strait at all, to open the strait, you crazy bastards. We need the strait. We're going to get the strait open. The strait's going to be open immediately after we sign this MOU, is what he said in the Oval Office yesterday. So that's the stance he is taking. So it keeps Americans and Americans' consumer sentiment very low, because nobody is sure of what's going on and what kind of money they need to save. So he's asked about the fact that Americans are confused. Now, remember, this is the man who said, I don't think about the American financial situation at all. I don't think about it.
So everyone said it was going to be $300-400 a barrel. It's $98 a barrel. But that's not a big price to pay if you look at the possibility of them having a nuclear weapon.
Again, none of our intelligence, even the intelligence under Donald Trump's administration, said that they were close to doing that.
It's not a very big price to pay.
And are your tactics where you say something and then change it and then do a peace deal and then break the ceasefire or whatever, is that all about trying to keep the Iranians off balance? Are you sort of messaging to them?
No. I don't
Because
think
people
so.
at home sometimes I
They
hear
get
that they feel
confused.
anxious and confused.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
That's
If they're
good.
confused and the Iranians are confused. too.
Right.
If the Americans are confused, the Iranians are confused. No, I don't think that's how that works. And actually, you wouldn't want the American people confused. Actually, you probably wouldn't want the Iranians confused either because you're supposed to be making a deal with them. He keeps saying every week, so that the market looks good before we leave, he keeps saying that we are going to have a deal. A deal is going to be done. We are so close to a deal. You don't want them confused because you want to be able to do a deal with them, right? Yeah, he didn't deny any of it at all.
But no, it's just the way I am. It changes. I mean,
It's just the way I am. An idiot. We know. Just the way I am. And then he calls Iran a success because of the economy.
well, one thing is working out well. You know, Venezuela was a big success. Iran's a big success. What do you see? I mean, that'll be.
Oh, George, Iran is a success? I thought he was losing it on purpose. Huh. Interesting.
Very big success.
Red wave is crazy. Have you? Okay.
Already, we've essentially defeated the military.
Droll, can I ask you a question though? Let's say that this red wave that you think is going to happen based off of no polling evidence or betting evidence, but let's say this red wave does not happen. Are you going to accept that you lost, or are you going to come cry foul like all of you are about to do after November? Are you going to cry foul? Are you going to cry cheat? Or are you going to accept that the system worked, they just didn't work in your favor?
We'll see what happens.
The Capitol again.
Yeah. Storm the
That's
Capitol.
what they're going to do. They're going to storm. I mean, at this
After
point,
the
that's what they're gonna-
midterms, that would be hilarious because, like,
I
okay,
believe it.
Donald Trump, I guess. I don't know. For the second time under Donald Trump's administration, which we're going to get into that actually, Jan 6 a little bit.
We're working on a deal, and if that happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, that's okay too. We'll do it the other way. But
If a deal happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, okay, either way. This is why Americans are confused. This is why the stock market is confused. This is why the oil market is confused. Because he doesn't fucking know. He has no fucking clue how to get out of this. Yeah, the other way, just continue war.
the economy is unbelievable. We just hit another stock market high today, all-time high.
Guys, we need to hit 25,000 likes in about 7 minutes. So get those fingers working, okay? Get them working. Your partners will thank you. Get them working.
71 times in the short period that I've been here for the second term. 71 times we've been at a new high. Well, one thing is working out.
Epstein was a Democrat. Yeah, you're right. So was Donald Trump when he was friends with him. Okay. Moving on. Trump gets asked because people are saying that Netanyahu tricked you. You fell for it. Netanyahu has been trying for decades to get any kind of president to pull the trigger on Iran. Donald Trump was the fucking idiot that did it.
What do you say to people who claim that Bibi Netanyahu tricked you into going into Iran?
Well, they're just, the enemy. They're just, the Democrats, DUM. These are Democrats. These are people that don't know what they're doing. They want
In case you didn't know how to spell it, DUM.
men playing in women's sports, and they want open borders so the world can pour into our country, and they want transgender for everybody, surgery, and they want transgender mutilization of our children. No, these are just words. That's all they do. That's all they're good for is words. Like, I heard that
Yeah, Raul. Raul, some Democrats did. Some Republicans also hung out with Epstein after his convictions. Some who gave him the sweetheart deal after his conviction showed up in Trump's cabinet. Do you remember Alexander Acosta? Go get all of them. I have no problem with that. Go get them. Why isn't Trump's DOJ doing that?
The other day, for the first time, I said, he tricked me. I mean, I'm the one that started it because, again, I don't want to bore anybody, but I started because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
Except he didn't start it, because we know that at the very beginning of when this happened on February 28th, Marco Rubio came out and said, we knew Israel was going to attack them. And so we thought that Iran was going to attack us because Israel attacked them. And so we also attacked them. So you didn't start anything. Netanyahu started it and you just followed him in. If I bore you, you can leave.
Now, that pertains to Israel because they probably would have been the first one to get hit. There would be no Israel. Tell you what, if there wasn't me, there would be no Israel right now. And it started off as when I terminated the horrible Barack Hussein Obama, the Iran nuclear deal that he penned.
Do you think he knows what the actual name of it is? Do you think he knows? I don't think he knows. I don't think he's read it. I don't think he knows.
And that would have given Iran that was a road to a nuclear weapon, and I terminated it.
It was not. It was not a road to a nuclear weapon. No, what you did by tearing it up and not having anything in its place was a road to a nuclear weapon. And even then, they abided by it for 2 more years before they actually started enriching, and they still didn't get to the point of weaponry, so.
It was lucky I did. And then I stopped it a second time with the B-2 bombers flying in and bombing the hell out of them. They would.
Oh, Donald does. Gotcha.
Have had a nuclear weapon if I didn't do that attack, which, very few people would have done it. If I didn't do that attack, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon and they would have used it almost immediately.
Again, where's the intelligence proof of this? This is what I keep asking from the Trump administration. This is what I keep asking from you, because we do not have information that that was the case at all. Okay, moving on a little bit. Trump also gets asked in this interview about the fact that so many musical artists pulled out of his Freedom 250 event, out of his big grand event, that now he's had to pull it down to actually say it's something smaller. And he complains.
That you were going to do. All those musicians have fallen.
Yeah.
They're cowards.
People no, it's not that. They get some free publicity. Look, they're not really cowards, but I never even heard of these people.
Right.
I never heard of any of them. They're boring.
You've never heard of Milli Vanilli? That was actually really, really big during your prime. Never heard of Martina McBride? Then why did you invite them to the event? Interesting. You didn't know them though.
I don't even want them. And when I heard a couple of them canceled out, I said, cancel the whole thing. I don't want to. We're going to do a rally.
Yeah.
When I heard they weren't coming to my birthday party, I said, go. I don't want to have a birthday party then.
In a rally, nobody's ever gotten crowds like I get at a rally. I had 118,000 people at one. I have 25,000. 25,000 is like a small crowd. Okay?
And your music's great.
And the only reason I only have 25 is because we have the basketball arenas. And
right.
Like at Madison Square Garden, I went to Madison Square Garden. Jim Dolan's the owner. He's a good guy too. And he said he's never, ever had a crowd like, so the place was packed. And the crowds went down to the Hudson River and down past Fifth Avenue. I
was there. It was incredible.
They could have sold that out, Miranda, 10 different times. She said, I've never seen anything like it. So we're going to have a rally. I don't want the music. I don't even know who they are. I don't know their music. I don't want to know their music. But no, a couple of them said, we don't want anything that's partisan. I said, that's okay. Go someplace else.
Yeah.
Is this a man who is wanting to fix the divide in the country and bring us together? You guys used to come up here and say that he's going to bring the country together and not be divisive, which is interesting because he's probably the most divisive president that we have ever had in our history. And that's saying something. He specifically was told by these musicians that they said, well, we were told it was a nonpartisan event just to celebrate America. And then we found out that it was being partisanly done. We do not want to be involved. And he said, then go somewhere else because I want it to be partisan. That is not somebody who is trying to unify a country. You might not like us or our ideals on the left, but we still live here. We are still Americans.
And we're not looking to be partisan. We're celebrating the country. But we're going to do a rally, a great, beautiful rally to 250 years. And it's going to be great. And I think we'll get much bigger crowds. I mean, I'm not looking to work.
It's going to be the same as his military parade. Just squeak, 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 squeak.
You know, got myself a good job.
That's right. I thought you'd be...
No, Clinton did not call half the country deplorable. She called MAGA voters deplorable. That's not half the country. So
get busy.
But I do get the largest rallies in the history of politics by maybe 10 times.
No, except that's not the case. Again, lying about crowd size. It's like men lying about dick size. So then let's go to him doing his favorite things, which is talking about elections without any proof. Guys, as we're sitting here, you guys are almost to that 25,000 like just as we hit 10:30. So let's make sure we are working on that, please. 50,000 likes before we hit the top of the hour. I would appreciate it if you were over there on YouTube, seeing as you guys can yap quite a lot, but you guys can't call in with factually based information. Hit that thumbs up button for me so that maybe we can get somebody on your side who's a little bit braver than you are. And again, factually based information and not your fifis in your stomach, guys. I have the little wink winks over here on TikTok. Let's work on that, getting those accomplished. And I have 60 left in my goal today. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link trees in my bio to make sure that we can get that goal down. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. This is how I pay my bills. So I would appreciate it if you guys could help out with that.
Look, we had a rigged election. We can't have a rigged election. No. We can be nice about it. We can be political.
By the way, this podcast that he did this interview on is owned by New York Post, which is also under a subsidiary of Fox News, the same corporation that had to pay upwards of, $80 million for their lies on the election systems.
Politically correct. Oh, I don't want to say. I used to say that a year and a half ago, the election was rigged and the cameras would literally turn off.
Yeah.
That's not true. We have video upon video upon video. The cameras didn't turn off. Nobody censored you from saying it. We just said there's no proof of that because there's no proof of that. The cameras didn't turn off. Why do you let him continue to fucking lie to you? The cameras never turned off. He's been able to say this and has said this for 6 motherfucking years.
And the anchor would say, sir, you're not allowed to say that,
Yeah,
now nobody ever turns off the camera because it's been proven to be rigged. Look at.
Where's the proof? Where's the proof? 60 plus court cases. Where's the proof? His DOJ, his personal attorney, is now the acting attorney general. Where are the prosecutions? Where's the proof? It's been proven. Not we'll see, not in 2 weeks. He says it's been proven. Where? Where? Wait for it. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, guys.
What happened in Georgia? Look at all the stuff that we found out. It was a rigged election.
What have we found out about Georgia? They've taken the ballots. That's it so far. We haven't found out anything about Georgia. You just took the ballots that were audited multiple times. If you don't look, you can't see. It's not about seeing. It is about where is the prosecution for this. He says it's been proven. If it's been proven, where are the court cases? It's because it hasn't. Like many people say, the problem with you guys is you are so steeped in glazing Donald Trump's taint that actually evidence, the lack of evidence, is more evidence to you than evidence that it didn't happen. The amount of audits that that election went through. There was nothing there that would have changed the vote for him to win. But because of that, you believe that the lack of evidence is evidence in and of itself. Where are the facts? You guys are so blind. You guys have sold your soul. That's it. That's all you have left is him. What are you going to do with your personality when he dies? Because he will eventually. He's an old man. He's not going to live forever. What are you going to do with your personality once he's gone?
Biden lost in a landslide.
Yeah.
Look.
Except he didn't. There's no proof of that. Again, no proof of that. And you guys just keep feeding him and his fucking conspiracy theory. Yeah, that was Roy. Roy Cohn did that to him. Roy Cohn taught him just deny, and keep it going. Now, in that same vein, this was him yesterday in the Oval Office talking about the raid of Mar-a-Lago for the classified documents case.
Can you explain why you decided to drop the anti-weaponization fund?
So I love it. I think it's so important.
Which, by the way, I hope we can get into. We'll see if we can get into. That was specifically talking about the fact that a judge ordered a stop on the creation or utilization of the Anti-Weaponization Fund up until June 12th, when they'll have another hearing. They are agreeing to abide by that. Then Todd Blanche spoke in front of a committee where he said the fund is dead, we're not moving forward, period. He refuses to put that in writing, but he is saying it verbally, which I hope we can get to and I'll show it. Now, so they asked him, because this is after Todd Blanche said that. They're like, the weaponization fund is dead. And he says, I love it, as if it still exists, which is why they wanted it in writing, because they would absolutely continue to try to do this.
People.
Where did Georgia, the state, okay. Bart C. said, Georgia literally admitted the fraud was real and pervasive. The state of Georgia admitted it. I didn't know that the state of Georgia could speak. Who within the state of Georgia admitted the fraud was real and pervasive? Fulton County Register press conference 3 weeks ago. Fulton County, let's see, registrar admits fraud in 2020 election. Is this a partisan hack who just repeats the same thing? Those are... You're talking about the 300,000 votes that were not found to be fraudulent, Bart. The 300,000 votes were not fraudulent. What it was is there are people who have chain of command. They are supposed to sign that they have the chain of command of those ballots. And they didn't. And they fucked up and they knew they fucked up. What they did is they took them back in, they recounted them and confirmed them. The ballots themselves were valid. The ballots themselves correlated with actual Georgia voters. They just needed the election official to sign chain of custody at the top. Jesus fucking Christ. You guys are so stupid.
This is a victim right here, but not only a victim, he was also a student of it. What happened to great people, great American people, and the way they were.
Oh my God, why are you talking like that now?
This is a victim killed themselves.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find, that was a different clip anyway. He talks about getting his house raided, but I don't know why the fuck the sound is like that, so I'm gonna delete that one from there. It's fine, we'll move on to this. Trump talking about January 6th. Yeah, he got put in a microwave. I don't know what happened. Is that not how he speaks, Parkers? I can't with you. I cannot. Jesus. I make shit up as I go? No, I don't. You want me to play the Atlanta news that I found here? Let's see. This was December of 2025, so that's not a few weeks ago. So let's see what we can find here. To seize of, I'm trying to find Fulton County specifically because the only thing I can find, let's see, let's put this in a new window, was something from 2025. Fulton County. Do you have an actual headline for that, Bart? I didn't say Atlanta News is fake. Is it? Let's see if this one has, no, that one doesn't. Okay. Let's play this video. Let's see what it says. I want to see what it says.
It blows my...
I bet it does. I bet it does. Hold on. Let me get it here, and then I'll put it on the screen for you. Without poll worker signatures. Stop. By the way, this, again, the only thing I can find in way of what you said, Fulton County Registrar admits. This is Atlanta News First. This was 5 months ago. Okay? Okay. And it's going to be exactly what the fuck I said, which is without official signatures. Not that the ballots were fraudulent, that they didn't have the signatures. Of course, there's my fucking violation. Guys, I'm going to play this on YouTube, but I'll be right back on TikTok. Oh, crap. Hold on. Okay. I didn't mean to close the whole thing like that, but hold on. Because you guys put my fucking live in danger because you guys are stupid. And you don't know facts. It's false claims. It's not false claims that they needed election official signatures. That's not a false claim. They needed election official signatures. Duh. Confirm. Hold on. I read a fake advertisement ad. What are you talking about? This is news. Atlanta News First. It had an ad beforehand. What are you talking about? And I didn't read it. The lady said it. I didn't fucking read it. Okay. Ready? We ready? We're ready, YouTube? Okay.
Fulton County made a stunning admission about the 2020 election. After almost 5 years of assuring voters all procedures were followed, it turns out that may not be entirely true. Now they face some steep fines from the state elections board. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is live tonight at the state capitol, where this all came out earlier this month. Doug.
Yeah, good evening, Blair. And those fines could crest $1 million if the state elections board gets exactly what they're asking for. Fulton County essentially admitted that there were unsigned tabulator tapes. Those are those pieces of paper akin to receipts that come out of the voting tabulation machines that help them verify how many people voted and to make sure that it actually matches the number of votes that were cast. Those are
right. So the machine will print out a receipt of the amount of ballots it tabulated, the amount it counted. What the election official needs to do is then sign that receipt that matches the amount of tabulations to ensure that they do match and that it counted the right number of votes. They fucked up and didn't sign the tabulation. They didn't sign the receipt. Not that the ballots were fraudulent.
unsigned, and that violates state law. The board also
Sure. And they can get charged for that. That's fine.
admitted that they were missing some documents tied to 2020.
But it's a violation of a rule. They should have done it.
A stunning admission earlier this month from an attorney representing Fulton County's election board.
The tapes.
Bart, I agree there is a reason the law says it must be validated. I agree. The receipts needed to be validated. Guess what? They went back in and they did that. The ballots were fine. The ballots were fine. The election official didn't do it. Yeah, and so the system's working. It got caught.
That are an issue in this case have been produced. They just weren't signed.
The ticker tapes she's talking about, shown here, are almost like receipts spit out by voting tabulators on election night. State law says they must be signed by poll workers for verification, but some 150 tapes tracking the votes of some 315,000 people during early voting in 2020 weren't signed.
At best, this is sloppy and it's lazy.
Sure.
At worst, it could be egregious, and it could have affected an election.
Some other ticker tapes and documents tied to the 2020 election were also missing, the county said. The revelation made waves nationally. Even Elon Musk posted about it. Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger assured it wouldn't have altered the results of the election that was audited and verified several times over.
Because when they audited it and caught this, they rechecked and recertified the votes. That's what you guys aren't understanding. Yes, in the initial situation, the officials fucked up. That has nothing to do with the actual ballots. That's what you guys don't understand. The election official fucked up in not writing the certification on the receipts. Yes. However, when they audited the election, they did certify those votes. So hard for you, I know.
Raffensperger posting online, quote, a clerical error.
I don't care about name calling. That's just get tougher. I don't know.
At the end of the day, does not erase valid legal votes.
A clerical error could be one tabulator tape not signed or one tabulator tape missing, not 148 tabulator tapes missing.
Garland Favorito, who runs the conservative watchdog group Voter GA, said the admission is disturbing to people who've had doubts about the 2020 election for years.
It's not vindication. It's just about accuracy and in the integrity and security of future.
And they did when it was audited.
Elections.
And that wasn't it for Fulton County this month. Just last Friday, a judge down the hill here ruled that they have to turn over images of ballots from 2020. It was something they had been fighting the state elections board on.
And this is going to be, I am going to cut it off here because there's only 4 more seconds anyway, but this is going to be before the fact that they went in and they subpoenaed them and took them. So the fact they needed images doesn't really matter because they came in and took them. So thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yeah, I'm 34. You said Colorado. I voted for Trump.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Because he holds Republican values.
Can you name
The
one?
main thing it comes down to is that Democrat women can be trans. There's more trans Democrat women than regular women. So I'm a vote for who-
Trans people can be Republican. Do you know who Caitlyn Jenner is?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Well, then your
Yeah,
initial
I know
claim
who
was
that
incorrect.
is, but
I don't know who you're talking to because I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered independent, and I'm also not a trans woman. I am a cis woman. But anyway, you said he aligns with Republican policy or Republican values. Can you name one, and we can talk about it?
yeah, not having men and women's sports.
How does that affect you?
I think it's wrong. I think that should be obvious.
Oh, so it doesn't affect you. Can you tell me the difference between sex and gender, please?
Yeah. What you got in your pants and what you use it for.
No. Scientifically, can you tell me the difference between sex and gender?
Scientifically,
Mhm.
I mean, doesn't really make a difference.
It does, because the scholars in biology and psychology would disagree with you on your assessment. Also, gender would not be what
Well,
you
maybe
use
they're
it
all
for.
gay and retarded. I don't give a shit.
I know, sweetheart.
You're overthinking it
I know,
too
and you
much.
just slurred, so I'm going to get rid of you. But who are you voting for in the governor's Republican primary?
Kamala sucks Jewish dick.
You don't even know who's running? Do you not even know? There's 3 people running for the Republican governorship. Do you know who it is?
Kamala don't even like black dick. She
I know, sweetheart. It must be tough for you. It must be tough. Okay. Sex is what you have in your pants. Gender is what you use it for. That's the best you got? That's the best you got, MAGA. You guys are so smart. You guys are so smart. I don't know why you think I would pick up the phone again. It is way too early in Colorado to be drinking. It is 10:47 in the fucking morning. 10:47 in the morning. All right, guys. So, again, the ballots were certified. The officials did not sign the tabulation receipts, which they should have done. And I think that means that they should be fired, if not, at the very least fired, which I'm pretty sure they were. At the very most, they should have some sort of fine or charge for failure to follow an election process. I have no problem with that, because that should have been done. And that was a mistake, and that's fucked up. But the audit fixed that, didn't it? Okay. So this is Donald Trump talking about January 6th in his podcast interview.
It was a great, I'll tell you, 2024 was a great election. That was a lot, there's a lot of rigging going on there too. Because you know what, I won in a landslide, but there were areas that were just rigged. I could see it.
So
rigged.
In 2024 when he won? What? Like, this is what I'm talking about. This man is not okay. Anything where he loses, even though he won the election, the fact that he lost certain states, he thinks means it's rigged. He is unwell. He is unwell.
In other words, rigged against me.
Yeah, of course. Of course. The anti-weaponization fund, have you dropped that?
No, a court ruled against it.
Yeah.
Well, Todd Blanche said you dropped it, so you should probably talk to your acting AG.
But just so you understand, these are people that have been decimated. These are people that lost their lives over nonsense, where the FBI said, go.
Rick, do you have a personality with factually based information outside of Donald Trump, or do you just glaze his taint?
Go in, police, go into the, and they were supposed to serve 5 years, 10 years in jail.
Right. Well, Sutbone, that's kind of what it sounds like. The fact that you're saying, I'm trying to be careful with my words so I don't have to restart on TikTok again. The fact that he's saying that 2024 had issues, what that tells me is that he expected a greater gap of his win, and I wonder why. Between everything else that he has spoken about, Elon knows the machines and he knows them well. Christians, if you vote this time, you'll never have to vote again. The things that have come out of his mouth, and then saying that 2024 surprised him and was also rigged. It's interesting phrasing. If you guys do not know More Perfect Union and also Election Truth Alliance, you should probably look them up. It's not something that I talk about here, but also if you watch RTP Talks, I know he's not live today, but if you watch RTP Talks, go to his previous videos. He has done a lot of work covering and talking about the Election Truth Alliance's investigation into 2024.
People committed suicide.
So he's talking about Jan 6, and he's saying it was an inside job. Now, who was in charge of the FBI and the DOJ and the administration in 2021? At the very beginning of 2021. January 6th, 2021. Who was in charge of that? MAGA? Can you tell me? I don't have TDS. You have TDS because you have Trump devotion syndrome. You're so devoted and deluded that you do not face facts anymore. Obama. It was. You're right. You know what? You're right. That's exactly who it was. It's not in there. It's in this one.
Obama.
All right. This is him talking again about January 6th.
A great people that were destroyed. Their families have been destroyed. Many suicides.
Cap for life. Show me where in the chain of command Nancy Pelosi was ever in charge of the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Show it to me. Show me. She's not in the chain of command for that, mama. Sweetheart. I don't have selective amnesia about January 6th. I actually watched it live, and I've watched the January 6th hearings. I know the information. You are just delusional. Show me where she's in the chain of command for that, because the Speaker of the House is not in the chain of command for the National Guard in Washington, D.C.
They committed suicide. People that went there with love. They went there with love. You know, when I made that speech early in the day, tremendous crowd. I hate to say.
No, it doesn't. The video you're talking about, Cap for Life, as you're screaming in all capitals saying that there's a video saying she said no to the National Guard. No, the video that you're talking about is her inside of her vehicle being driven, where she says that it's her fault that they weren't prepared. She's not talking about the National Guard. She's talking about the entity that she was in charge of, which is the Capitol Police. The Speaker of the House is in charge of the Capitol Police, and she was saying that she regrets the fact that she did not have them more prepared. Hello?
Because they'll say, oh, I was wrong on the number, but I believe it's the largest crowd I've ever spoken to by twice.
By twice. The crowd at January 6th at the Ellipse was the largest he's ever spoken to by twice. Yeah, they were saying, hang Mike Pence with love. With love.
The biggest crowd, I think, bigger than the inaugurations.
And then you pivoted to Kamala. Anyway, try again, Cap for Life, another day. Maybe try another day.
Bigger than it.
Tomato, potato? The Capitol Police and the National Guard are two very, very, very different things. You can't tomato or tomato potato that. Those are two different things. It's not you, it's your phone. You're now talking without caps lock on. So it's not your phone, it's you.
Anything. And there was so much love and friendship. It was the most amazing thing. People were crying. They were like, wait a minute, let me finish.
I hate him so much.
And those people have been abused by you and by others and by the politicians, by the Democrats. They're dumb people. They want to have open borders. They want to have transgender mutilization of your children. They're great people that would just.
I'm just playing Trump's words and I'm getting flagged. I just want everybody to know. I'm just playing what Trump is saying and I'm getting flagged. I just want everybody to know. But they came with love. If I get taken down, guys, I'll try and appeal it. I'm not fucking restarting again. I'll take it. I'll try to appeal it. If not, I'll figure out a way to get on my backup, but I will still be on YouTube and Twitch, so you can go over there too. But with love, they came with love, guys.
Multiple capital injuries. Multiple capital injuries.
So much love that they came with. They were crying. So much love. And again, he wants to pay them. Guys, can we please get working on that goal? We are almost at the top of the hour. I know we had to restart for likes, so I'm not really showing with the likes. At most, I would like to be able to hit like 60,000, 70,000 before I end today in way of the likes. I would appreciate that. But I have 60 left in my goal. If we could start working on that with Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link trees in my bio, I'd appreciate it. And guys, to protect the live, make sure that you are tapping and getting those likes and also doing the gift goals. I have the little chilies there. It does help protect the live as well as we're sitting here. Again, I'm getting flagged for things that Donald Trump is saying out of his mouth. So, yeah. All right. Moving on, Trump gets asked in that interview about groceries. People are hurting because not everybody has a 401k and not everybody is invested in the stock market, and they're hurting right now. Groceries are high. And of course, he's going to address that and not deflect because he is a strong alpha president who only takes accountability, right?
And whether we like it or not, that is a big indicator of where we got people, 401ks are all high. They're all setting records.
What about people who don't have 401ks and they're worried about gas or groceries? We hear about that a lot.
I inherited very high prices when I came in. I inherited the highest inflation in the history of our country. You know, Biden had like 9, 10.
Oh, okay. So he's not going to take accountability. He's just going to deflect to Biden, who hasn't been in office for a year and a half. When does it become on him? When is it on him anymore? Yeah, of course eggs were high, Turbo. Eggs were high because of the avian flu, not because of any policy that Biden implemented. He doesn't get the admonishment for eggs being high, just as Donald Trump doesn't get the credit for eggs now being low. They didn't do anything to make the prices high. Trump didn't do anything to make the prices on eggs lower. That's silly. If you want to talk about an actual product, that would be great. You could do that. Now, he's going to do what you guys always do, which is talk about a very specific month of a very specific year. I'm sorry, did you give me crabs and I didn't see it? I apologize. Let me.
Like 9, 10% inflation. And I inherited that. And we have it way down. And then I said, I did have to say, we have to do something about it.
But he didn't. So here's the thing. The one thing that I grant you is that gas prices went down. Gas prices, when Donald Trump, to be fair, gas prices started dropping a little bit. They had been slowly going down, but they had started dropping before the election in 2024, and they continued to drop. And then they had dropped when Trump came into office. We were at about 60, I believe it was like $60 a barrel for crude at the time before he started this war. That's true. That did go down. It is now increased. However, if we're talking about other things, you can read the Bureau of Labor Statistics report. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but the BLS releases from the government every single month. It will release a CPI report on inflation, and it will talk about the cost of goods. We have seen where that was already going up. Energy was already going up in other sectors, not specifically gasoline, but yes, and food. Those things were already going up, so it was not being brought down. Gas, yes, was coming down. Grocery prices were not coming down under his administration so far at all. At all. Previous to February 28th when he started the war with Iran.
Because regardless of how well we're doing, we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. And they've already agreed they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
They did. In a little document that was signed with the help of the Secretary of State at the time, John Kerry, under the Obama administration, called the JCPOA, where they agreed they weren't going to have a nuclear weapon. Now, he's saying they've agreed. I just got crabs. Thank you, Justin, for giving me crabs. They're the ones, they have been saying they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. Our intel said they were not having a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump is now saying we have a deal to not have a nuclear weapon, except that deal never seems to come to fruition.
Oh, yeah, they've agreed to that. I mean, now they can change their mind, but that was one of the things they had to agree. They've agreed to that. That was the big thing.
How do you know the people you're talking to there are actually the people making?
And whether we like it or not.
So again, he's not taking accountability for the fact that he campaigned on getting grocery prices lower. He's saying, I inherited high grocery prices. No, because even then, again, inflation was at about 2.9 or 3% when you took office in January of 2025. That's crazy. And now it's up to 3.8. So it's going up. And Donald Trump was asked about, why do you keep doing physicals? It's your fourth one in a year and a half. Why do you keep doing these cognitive tests that we know are for people who are suspected of having Alzheimer's or dementia.
You just had your health thing, and you're 14 years younger, cardiac health and cognitive health.
Yeah, they said I'm very healthy.
Yeah.
I do
His eye looks really healthy. Looks very healthy.
physicals because I think I have an obligation to do it. But I just came out with very, very good results. And I took a test, a cognitive test, and I got 100% on it. As the expression goes, I aced it.
Yeah.
And the doctors told me it's very, very few people can ace that. It's actually a tough test. You know, once you get past the first half of the...
Okay. His doctors were impressed that he aced it because it's actually he aced it, and it's a difficult test. When? There's a very specific point where he says it's a difficult test.
And the doctors told me it's very, very few people can ace that. It's actually a tough test. You know, once you get past the first half of the questions, those questions get difficult.
Is it a memory? What is it that, have you got a good memory?
I have a great memory. Good, look, so far so good.
Yeah.
I hope I'm going to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. I'm going to do it every fucking time he mentions it. So this part is the part that technically is not halfway. This is before halfway. So to be fair to him, he said it gets difficult after this. This is part of the test, right? But you know what? Let's find the whole thing again because it's my fucking favorite thing. Hello, RJ Raiders. Welcome in. Donald Trump aced his 4th cognitive test, and we're going to talk about it again. Again, we're going to talk about it. Let me see if I can find one that I can bring up that's better here. Okay, because we've done this. Where the fuck is mine from? When did we go over this last time? Does anybody remember the last time we went over this? So then I can bring that one up because that one was better. Oh, found it. Ha ha ha. I clicked on the right one. I'm so good. All right. Donald Trump says it gets more difficult after you get halfway through. So I'm going to say that that's after what? After the animals? After the animals? RJ Raiders, welcome in. I appreciate you guys coming in. If you guys could do all the good things for me that you do for RJ. RJ. No, I didn't bleep myself. TikTok's doing it. TikTok's doing it, and I did not fix it before I reset. TikTok is bleeping me. But thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it. If you could tap that screen and share the live out, I would appreciate it so very much. If you're watching over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. I would appreciate that as well. W's to oh me, oh my, while I'm sitting here for the 4333. I had to do the math on that. You know I had to do the math on that. Thank you so much. Brings us down to 1667. Left in the goal, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know we can get that knocked out before we end here today. But since Donald Trump mentioned his damn cognitive test, we're going to go over it again. Not the entire thing. I'm just going to show you because he said it gets difficult after you get halfway through. So after you stop naming the animals, it gets difficult. And he aced it. Okay? 6, 7. Read list of words. Subject must repeat them. Do 2 trials. Even if first trial is successful, do a recall after 5 minutes. Leg, cotton, school, tomato, white. Leg, cotton, school, tomato, white. It's so difficult. Read list of digits. Subject has to repeat them in forward order. 2, 4, 8, 1, 5. 2, 4, 8, 1, 5. Subject has to repeat them in the backward order. 4, 2, 7, 7, 2, 4. Read list of letters. The subject must tap with his hand at each letter A. No point if greater than 2 errors. F, B, A, C, M, N, A, A, J, K, L, B, A, F, A, K, D, E, A, J, A, M, O, F, A, B. It's so difficult, guys. I'm so proud that we have such a smart president that could ace a test that apparently most people can't ace. It must be really, really difficult to remember. Repeat. The child walked his dog in the park after midnight. The child walked his dog in the park after midnight. The artist finished his painting at the right moment for the exhibition. The artist finished his painting at the right moment for the exhibition. It's very difficult. It must be so difficult for him. My God. That's your guy, MAGA. That's your guy. Then, did I say that? Yes. Trump gets asked about the anti-weaponization fund again. Again, we showed you that in the Oval Office yesterday, but he also says it here.
Yeah, of course. Of course. The anti-weaponization fund, have you dropped that?
No, a court ruled against it.
Yeah.
But just so you understand,
I got
these
flagged
are
for hate
people
speech.
that have been decimated. These are people that lost their lives over nonsense, where the FBI said, go in, police, go into the... And they were supposed to serve 5 years, 10 years in jail. People committed suicide. People were treated, there's never been anything like this. What happened to those people? And these were many great people. And I gave them pardons. I'm very proud to have given them pardons. And I think they should be reimbursed for a crooked government. The government.
Yeah, of course.
The crooked government. The government that prosecuted them for attacking the Capitol and attacking cops. But they came with love, guys. They came with love. Okay. Do I want to do those? No, I'll show this one, though, just because I'm petty. Donald Trump finished his school project, and I'm so proud of him because he didn't have very much time left. So here he is showing off his project to the class.
I just had this done. You're getting a first glimpse, but that's your size compared. So those are compared to, those are among the tallest buildings in the world, including the Empire State Building, World Trade Center, Sears Tower, Chicago. So if you lay it on its side, you take 2 or 3 of...
Chicago. Does he know that that buildings are vertical and the reflecting pool is horizontal? Does he know that?
Mom, look how long my pool is, Mom!
Peter.
The horse is here.
The horse is here. Everybody. I'll put it on the fridge. I'm going to put it on the fridge for you. You did so good.
That's exactly what that made me think of.
Our pool is bigger than skyscrapers. That's the title on that poster. We're at war. We're at war with another country right now. There is an Ebola outbreak because of the funding that has been cut from USAID. Thanks Trump and Elon and Doge. There has been a measles outbreak from the inception of him being in this seat as the president of the United States. People can't afford gasoline. People cannot afford groceries. People are racking up credit card spending, which is a sign of a recession, because they cannot afford to live. And this man is holding up posters about the fact that the pool is bigger than skyscrapers. That's what the president of the United States of America is doing. If we're not at war, tell Donald Trump that. He's the one who keeps saying it. He's the one who keeps saying it.
Hello.
Hello.
You know those memes, like the blank memes when they're holding out the law that they're signing and they'll fill in whatever? That's exactly what this looks like. It looks like somebody went in and put that there. But no, that's a real motherfucking poster.
He had that printed at FedEx Kinko's. The staffer was just like, oh yeah, I'm here to pick up. Well, what's the title of it? Our pool is bigger than skyscrapers. I'm sorry, what was that? Our pool is bigger than skyscrapers.
I want to know what the Kinko's employee... You know what?
I keep saying, you want to talk about fraud, waste, and abuse? The amount that Congress has to print in posters of lies, like that's fraud, waste, and abuse. I don't want my tax money to pay for that anymore. We have projection screens and TVs now. Can we get it together? Why the fuck? Why is he showing posters right now? Why?
Putting names on building, taking them down. You put the left foot in, you take the left foot out.
6 more seconds. God. What could he possibly say? Okay.
Them to fill it in because the width is almost 200 feet wide. They just had...
My God.
I can't. That was it. You can drop me if you want.
Okay, love you.
Bye.
Oh, God. It's insane. Okay. Moving on. I have an hour. Okay. Let me figure out. I have so much stuff to get through, and I don't know what I'm going to get through first. Let's go to Iran. So this was a Fox News host speaking to a representative, and even he sounds confused about what the strategy is in regards to the blockade of the blockade. Blue is petty.
So I was going to start this off by saying, Brett, that I'm a little puzzled as to what the actual strategy of negotiation is. But President Trump put this out seconds ago on Truth Social. It says fake news reports that the Islamic Republic of Iran and the USA stopped speaking a few days ago are false and erroneous. The conversations between us have been going on continuously, including 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 1 day ago, and today. Where they lead, no one knows. But as I told Iran, it's time one way or another for you to make a deal. Does that give you hope that something's in the offing?
Not really. But again, it doesn't really matter too much as long as the president maintains the pressure, the leverage on the regime in Tehran, the blockade.
I was confused. The Fox News host said, I don't know. Yeah, Blue. I saw it. I'm trying to run a professional show here. And I can't focus. Because you.
P-E to the T-T-Y.
Oh, gosh. So then Rubio is confronted, like Pete Hegseth was confronted, about the fact that our intel knew that if you attacked Iran, they were most likely going to close the strait. Because Donald Trump keeps saying nobody knew they would do this. And it's like, no, the intelligence community absolutely knew they would do this. So they, in front of Congress, Representative Meeks confronts Rubio about that fact. Did you fucking know? He actually admits that they did know that this was going to happen. They just didn't care because Iran nuclear weapon, even though, again, our own intel doesn't say that they were close to that.
Did you warn President Trump before the war in Iran began?
Prove to me that Jill Biden made any kind of decisions for Joe Biden in the office, please.
And that this conflict would drive up costs on gas, food, travel, and shipment.
Yeah, I'll warn you right now, I don't do yes or no answers.
Yeah,
So
well,
these
I
are
only have
complex
5
questions.
minutes. I know when
Well,
you
so
was
do
the
I.
senator, you know
I
about
never
this
did yes or
business,
no answers
and I
to
know you're
people.
trying to go out so that you can run out my 5 minutes. That's a simple
I'm not gonna
question.
run out your 5 minutes. You're running out your 5 minutes.
Did you?
I don't do yes or no question. You want to answer me a question? I'll answer
I'm
your
answering.
question.
You answer my question. It's my time. Did you?
Did I what?
Yes or no? Did you warn President?
Yeah, somebody said Jill Biden made decisions for Joe. So he said that even if Trump is losing his mind, his wife will just make decisions for him, just like Jill did. That's what he said. Common sense. Sure.
President Trump,
The president
before
was
the
fully-
Iran war began, that this conflict would drive up costs on gas, food, travel, and shipment.
The president,
yes or no?
The president and the full administration was aware that there would be consequences to action, but the consequences
Let
of
me
Iran
move
having
on.
a nuclear weapon were worse.
Did you warn?
Okay, so you knew that there would be consequences to what you were doing, but the consequence of Iran having a nuclear weapon was worse, except, again, where's the proof of that? Because even again, Pete Hegseth said, we obliterated it in Operation Midnight Hammer in June of last year, and that we were bombing ambitions. So what?
Did you warn him?
Yeah, I don't do yes or no answers.
Did you warn him that launching a war in Iran could result?
I don't want a cookie. I want honesty. Exclusive. I want honesty and I want facts. All you have are ad homs about a previous administration. Biden was old. He had a stutter. He was still capable to do the job. That is what everybody in his internal orbit said. Was he an old man? Yes. He is no longer in office. Why can you not focus on your man? Why do you have to pivot? Because nobody said it was okay. There was an entire subset of Democrats and the party that were trying to get Biden out earlier. Out of the running earlier. But he was still doing the job. You know how we know that? Because he passed bipartisan legislation.
And the regime placing a chokehold on the...
Oh, exactly, Casey. They just need Biden to justify themselves. Well, I can't justify it. He's crazy. I don't know Biden.
Strait of Hormuz.
All the risk factors were understood, but the most important risk factor
I just
was
want to know
Iran
if you did
cannot
your
have a
job.
nuclear
Did you
weapon.
warn him?
Iran
If
cannot
you
have a
didn't warn him,
nuclear
say
weapon.
yes. It's simple.
Everyone was aware of what Iran might
Did you
do in
warn him?
retaliation.
I'm asking.
Also that act. Trump's wife would not help him run any kind of office because she fucking hates him. And she'd be like, the money. Because I am whore.
Everyone was aware.
Don't
of
want to
what
answer that. Let
Iran
me ask
would
you the
do.
next question.
But the worst part
Did
is that
you
they
warn
can't
the
have a
president that launching U.S. strikes against Iran would result in retaliatory attacks on U.S. allies, partners, and Americans living or working in the Middle East?
Everyone
Yes
understood
or
what
no?
Iran would do in response.
Did you warn them?
We were prepared for any response that
You
they
want-
came out with.
okay.
We knew it.
Just wanna make
but
sure.
they can't have a nuclear
So
weapon.
you saying you want
We knew it, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. So you knew. I'm loving the beep. Look, it was cracking me up in olives. That's why I kept it.
warn them? Did you warn the president that the personal stock purchases and companies profiting from the war that he launched could present a conflict of interest?
I'm not aware of the president's stock purchases. I don't deal with that, and I don't even know what you're saying is true.
Hopefully we can get into that later with Rubio. If not, we'll get into it one of the tomorrow or next week. We've talked about it. We've talked about Trump's increase in his personal wealth. And they show him the chart, but he's going to deny that because he sold his soul. So remember, I played you the video where Rubio told Booker that that we won the war. We won the war. It's not a war. They keep calling it a war, and that we won it. And Jacobs is going to confront him on that. If we won it, why are we still there? Yeah, Audrey, it's a new feature. It'll come up when you bring up, you could do it now even if you're not going live. Like when you bring up TikTok Studio, it shows up as a little thing. It's censored Booker. Cory Booker. Senator Cory Booker. Jesus Christ.
In Iran. Yesterday, in your Senate testimony, you told Senator Booker that the war in Iran is over. This is news to me. It's also news to my 2,500 constituents, Marines, San Diego Marines in the Middle East off the coast of Iran, the other of my constituents who are deployed there, and the thousands more of my constituents who have 48-hour deployment notices whose families are still very concerned. But okay, I will take you at your word. If the war is over, I have a simple question. Who won?
First of all, Epic Fury is over, which is what you would consider the war. That operation is
So you agree
concluded.
it's a war, then?
No, those are hostilities. They called it a war. I'm
Okay.
just responding to the Senator.
No, the president called it a war.
Mr. Secretary, you can change the name of the operation. It doesn't change the fact that the...
And that's what they did. They changed the name of the operation. Instead of being Epic Fury, they changed it to Operation Freedom, which was this idea about helping ships get through the strait that, again, Iran blocked and closed. But all they did was change the name because we are still actively firing.
strait is still closed, and my service
Yeah, but
members
that's
and
not-
all of our service members are still in
I know, but
harm's
that's
way.
not
The
what you
war
asked me.
is not over. But I'm agreeing with you. Okay, fine. We're taking you at your word. The war is over. Who won?
Well, first of all, you're not taking me at my word. It's a fact. We're no longer conducting sustained strikes inside of Iran to degrade their military because Epic
We are still striking them. Sustained strikes, we are still striking them. They are all over the place, Chicky. They have no clue how to spin this anymore.
Fury is over. The second point is on the question of who won. I can tell you this: we defined victory. We defined victory as destroying their defense industrial base, significantly reducing the number of missile launchers that they possess, significantly.
Except that we saw the New York Times article where they're still functioning. Their missile silos are still functioning.
Significantly reducing their stockpile of drones, and we achieved all of those in addition to
That's not what our intel says.
destroying what they had left of an air force and wiping out their entire conventional navy. Those are all gone. So I consider that victory, and we did too. And
Objection, source.
that was the purpose of Epic Fury.
Okay, well, good. Based on the metrics that you just said, okay, there's actually our intelligence community has said that Iran is reconstituting its military industrial base faster than we had predicted. And analysts assess it still holds roughly 70% of its missile stockpile and 70% of its mobile launchers. The Strait of Hormuz was open before the war. It is now closed. We have lost 14 brave American service members. Over 400 are injured. And the Iranian regime remains largely intact, but now with a more hardline leader who has more incentive to try and get a nuclear weapon. So I guess I have to ask you again, Mr. Secretary, does this actually look like winning or losing to you?
Well, first of all, I don't know what intelligence assessments you're referring to. We wouldn't discuss intelligence assessments if they were real.
These have been publicly reported.
Well, they're publicly reported. Someone committed a crime, and by the way, is also lying. And this happens all the time.
Our intel community is now lying. Okay. The only people we can trust are Secchi of Defense, Marco Rubio and Donald Trump now. We can't even trust our own intelligence agency being run by people he appointed. Huh. That's interesting. Kenneth, you did one of the classic blunders. The first one being don't get involved in a land war in Asia. The second one saying that it is in a binary and a duopoly to think that Democrats and liberals are agreeing with Iran or the regime over there by saying we need to do a deal to get the fuck out. I'm following our intelligence. Our intelligence says they were not close to getting a nuclear weapon. Yeah, all we have done is radicalize an entirely new generation. That's all that we've done. Nobody here is supportive. I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Guess what? That's why I liked the JCPOA.
People manipulate intelligence and analysis for purposes of furthering a narrative on your.
Interesting. Now we're just disagreeing with our own intelligence. Okay. Donald Trump yesterday was asked what a ceasefire means because he keeps claiming that there is a ceasefire. Bessent keeps saying the ceasefire is still going. Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio keep saying we are still in the middle of a ceasefire. And yet, during this ceasefire, we are still striking them. They are still striking us and other Gulf nations. Israel is still going after Lebanon and Beirut. Last time I checked, ceasefire was a conjunction of two words, meaning ceasing or stop of the firing, right? That's what I would have thought. Oh, well, let's listen to Donald Trump talk about it.
How do you define ceasefire? How do you define ceasefire?
Pretty much the way it is. It's a different part of the world. You know, I'd say in that part of the world, ceasefire is when you're shooting in a more moderate manner.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize ceasefire meant something different in different parts of the world. Now, he's been bragging that Israel and Gaza have a ceasefire. That's in a very similar part of the world. Does that mean that Israel is only firing on Gaza in a moderate manner? I guess I don't want to hear any more accolades about Trump's ceasefire agreements that he's rendered. Because apparently it means you're allowed to keep firing.
How do you define ceasefire?
Pretty much the way it is. It's a different part of the world. You know, I'd say in that part of the world, ceasefire is when you're shooting in a more moderate manner.
How do you
That's your man. It's not what ceasefire means, by the way. What that means is we don't have a ceasefire. That is just him admitting we do not have a ceasefire. But yesterday, if you guys don't remember, let me remind you, the Senate, but right, the weekend before Labor Day, the Friday before the weekend of Memorial Day, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. The Thursday and Friday before the weekend of Memorial Day, the Senate came together and passed a war powers resolution to stop, restrain, quell what Donald Trump is doing with Iran, to give that power back to Congress where it belongs. The Senate passed it. It was going to go to the House. Mike Johnson sent everyone home for Memorial Day early. They usually go on break for Memorial Day anyway, but he sent them home early. Why? Because we had heard rumors that the war powers resolution that passed in the Senate was going to have enough votes to pass in the House. Mike Johnson didn't want that. On top of the fact, what we are hearing is they didn't even have the votes for their reconciliation on the rest of the DHS funding, which is interesting because that was the whole reason they did what they did, is so that they could pass it with simple majority, and they left before they even did that. They were so scared of this war powers resolution, they left early. Well, yesterday, it got introduced to the House, and it was passed. It's not 218, so it's not a full passage, but passed. 215 to 208, 4 Republicans jumped sides. This is them celebrating.
On this vote, the yeas are 250.
Cap, let me get something real clear with you. As much as you had all sorts of conspiracy theories and incorrect information in regards to January 6th and the election, what I will tell you is that I am no Chuck Schumer fan. I am so ready for him to leave his Senate seat, I can't even tell you. I am so done with him. Establishment Democrats, I am done and over with. I'm tired of this placation. I want it to still have decorum in Congress. I don't want to lose that, but I am done with him. He actively is fighting against candidates and things that the people want. Chuck Schumer can fuck all the way off. Absolutely not.
15 and the nays are 208. The concurrent resolution is adopted.
I agree, Cap. Nancy and him. Absolutely. Both of them.
Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Well, that made Donald Trump really mad. Guys, thank you for the taps, by the way, because I know I hit a restart. So you guys are doing fantastic. The fact that we are at about 60,000 likes even after a restart. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I know that I ended quickly just because I was scared. I was scared. A bitch was scared. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Guys, we still have 7 left in the goal with about 30 minutes left to go. If we can start working on a dollar train or a $2 train to get that accomplished, that would be great. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the links in the bio. Hi, Lynatti. I would appreciate it. If you were over there on YouTube, if you could hit that thumbs up button for me, I would appreciate it. It does help push us out onto the algorithm. Remember, you can call in and have a conversation with me about why you are still supporting Trump, what policies and things that he is doing you think are actively benefiting the American people. But again, you are going to have to provide factually based information for that. I will ask you to source it, and I hope that you have those sources, and they better not be Reddit, Facebook, Google overview, ChatGPT, Gemini, or whitehouse.gov. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it so very much. Okay. Donald Trump was mad that got passed in the House yesterday. So of course he truths about it. Yesterday, in a meaningless vote, because again, it wasn't like voted, but it is a sign of where things are headed. Can't Prince Aladdin wish for more likes? I'm going to crash out. The House voted 4 bad Republicans and all of the Democrats to limit my war powers right in the middle of my final negotiations to end the war with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Final negotiations? Because we're going to have a deal over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Was it yesterday? This one says it was timestamped at 7:13 a.m., but that's, I guess, whoever took this screenshot. It would be their local time. I'm not sure. Who would do such an unpatriotic thing? That should have ended in a question mark. They know where the negotiations stand. The Democrats are fueled by... You didn't even do it right there. The Democrats are fueled by Trump derangement syndrome. They would rather have our country fail than give me another of many victories. It's not about giving you a victory. It's about what's going to be beneficial for the American people. And you have said over and over again that we are getting a deal that we then don't get. The 4 Republicans, that's a whole other story. They're grandstanders. They should be ashamed of themselves. MAGA, President DJT. Do you guys ever question why Donald Trump is fine with everyone who agrees with him, but as soon as you don't, you are a rhino, you're a grandstander, you're fake? Do you guys ever wonder that? Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the main reasons why he is where he is with the power that he has. That bitch wore a fur coat with buttons of him and her hat, which is beyond the decorum of what you were supposed to do for the State of the Union for Joe Biden. She was all in. But as soon as she came out and said, Mr. Trump, I am going to sign my name on this discharge petition to release the Epstein files to help these survivors, he started trashing her. He was fine with her until then. Until she went against him. All in. All in. Thomas Massie has voted with Donald Trump's policies in the Republican Party 98% of the time. But he came out and said, we need to get this discharge petition onto the floor so that we can vote in the Epstein Transparency Act. Why do you guys not realize that anytime somebody agrees with him, it's great, but as soon as they disagree with him, it's all out war with him? maybe he's in the wrong. Maybe it's okay for his own party to critique him. Maybe that's okay. And you guys need to get on board. Scott Bessent, he's currently in front of the, I think he's in front of the, is he in front of the House or some sort of committee? I'm not sure if it's the House or the Senate, but this is him in front of the Senate where he's talking to Scott Bessent, or he's talking to Raphael Warnock, excuse me. Bessent is talking to Warnock. And Raphael Warnock is asking him about the cost of the war. Again, Bessent is in charge of the Treasury. He's in charge of looking at the books. The cost of the war to the American people. And of course, Scott Bessent is going to answer that and not deflect. Exclusive. You're right. You're wrong. Exclusive. The Dixiecrat Party started the KKK and owned slaves. What you are not factoring is there was an ideology switch where the names stayed the same, but the ideology switched. So you can look at the voting in the South when they were listed as Democrats and Dixiecrats and they were still voting for conservative policy. But when they changed their ideology stayed, they just changed their name and now it's Republicans who vote for that conservative stuff still. The conservative Democrats.
How about the Iran war, which is costing tens of billions of dollars and counting? You previously said we have plenty of money for the war. Wars increase the national debt. Is that spending still a good idea, sir? Yes or no?
Sir, do you think it's a good idea to spend so that Iran cannot have a nuclear...
That's fair. That's a better term for it. That's why I don't like the term party switch, babe. You're right. Party realignment is the actual term, but they can't spell realignment, so...
Weapon.
Sir, I'm not... Sir, do you think it's a good... So you do think it's a good idea?
I think preventing...
You think the Iran war makes...
I think just as many people, historically, when President Obama was in office, said that Iran may not have a nuclear weapon.
President Obama left office in 2016, sir.
I know, but I'm saying there may...
Hello? Obama? Obama, are you there? Come pick us up. The babysitter's weird. Why the fuck are we talking about Obama? It is 2026. When will this administration, this cabinet, take accountability? It is their presidency now. They're in charge. Donald Trump was the one, he said he won in a landslide, even though it was only a 1.5% margin. He was the one who said he had a mandate by winning with Congress, by winning the majority in the House and the Senate. He was the one who talks about the fact that he won in the conservatives on the Supreme Court. If you have so much power, when do you finally take accountability? Exactly, Z-Spark. The buck stops with, not me. Take accountability.
Many people on this committee who said Iran should never have a nuclear weapon at any cost.
I agree with
For the independent party, I need to take accountability for the independent party? What did we do? I'm a registered independent.
They should not have a nuclear...
Obama brought back this racist rift in current media and politics. Do you want to know why, MRT? Why he did that? Oh, because he was black and he just got voted in as a black man. It brought it back because you all are just racist.
Their weapon and they're closer thanks to this administration's policies.
Absolutely
and
not,
the
sir.
Strait of Hormuz is still closed. And you should tell the people in Georgia that this war is a good idea. I think they'll disagree.
But we keep pivoting. Last little one that I have on this Iran section, and this is, again, as we did with Rubio, are we still at war? So Larson is going to ask Bessent, are we still at war? But don't worry, he's going to ask Psaki at some point.
Are we at
up
war
twice that much
currently?
every year under the Biden administration.
Are we at war currently?
That the conflict has been halted.
Well, Rubio said we won. Did we win, or is the conflict halted? If the conflict is halted, why are we still shooting them? Oh, yeah, because Donald Trump said ceasefire means moderate. Okay. How much more pretzeling do you guys need to do?
The conflict.
Is that Colonel Sanders? That's a fair question, that crow guy. No, that's Mr. Larson. Oh, he has one of those pairs of glasses that magnet when he puts them on in the front. Who is on his lapel? I wonder who that is.
Has been halted. So we're not at war. So our military is not involved. We're not at war.
Again, if you would like for me to call the Secretary of War, I can ask. I'm the Secretary
So
of
as part of the administration and as part of this, we're not at.
You need to ask the Secretary of Defense if we're still at war. You are in the Treasury, yes. You're trying to deflect by saying you're in charge of the Treasury. The Treasury is going to get the invoices on what the cost of this war is. Are we still at war? You should know that.
War. How in God's name, if we can't answer any questions at all, and I don't know, maybe there were some special orders where we're not allowed to these questions or not. We ought to make that clear. Are we at war or not? I'm asking as relation.
Exclusive. Real men. What is a man? A man is an adult human being whose gender identity aligns with their personal schema on the male sex.
To the cost of going up for oil and gas, that hasn't risen. Well, has it risen because of the war?
It did rise because of the conflict. Yes, sir.
The conflict. So that's what we call it. Our people go into battle and lose their lives.
Mr. Larson, your time has expired.
Are we at war? No? Nobody knows? None of them know. He needs to ask the Secretary of Defense. Okay, sure. Whatever. So then I'm gonna play a few videos of Bessent speaking now about other things, not about war. And first off, I am gonna play this entire thing. It's about 5 minutes, so you know it'll be long. Of Elizabeth Warren scorching him. I always forget, and I hate that I forget, that when we mention progressives like Bernie Sanders and AOC, I regret that I miss her a lot of the times. Elizabeth Warren was making a lot of money as a professor, and she left that to come and join and to become part of a coalition to create the CFPB to try and rein in the banks for what they were doing with overdraft fees and what they were doing for people. What they were doing to people, not for people, excuse me. She left that. She left money that she could have been making as a professor to come and do this in Congress. And I thank her for fighting the way she does. W's. Huge W's to Hubbub for the 16-6-7. To knock out the rest of the goal today, Kentucky Fried Rubio. W's to you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Guys, do remember that if you would like to send a message in a donation that you would like me to read out loud, I still will do that beyond the fact that my goal is reached. So thank you so much. Don't forget you have super chats and bits and jewels and things like that over on Twitch and YouTube. Kentucky Fried Rubio. But thank you so much. So let's keep doing all of those good things. Thank you, Hubbub. I appreciate you. W to you. So this is Elizabeth Warren going at Bessent. And yes, you know, I'll probably interrupt because it's what I do, but.
Last year, you came out in support of a trading ban for members of.
By the way, holy crap, tappers. The fact that I did a restart and we're at 72,000 likes with 20 minutes to go, you guys are fucking amazing. I don't know how else to tell you. The support that you give to me in this community is amazing. Like, truly. Thank you, guys.
Congress. And I have introduced legislation to do exactly that. You explained the need for a ban on our...
There it is. Chris Wade is our first Pocahontas. Congratulations.
Our trading stock by saying, quote, you look at some of these eye-popping returns, every hedge fund would be jealous of them. And that, quote, if any private citizen traded that...
DJ Bookie, you're such a good boy. So she is talking about the fact that, again, Donald Trump's wealth has been increasing, and we recently talked about the fact that his disclosures forms came out that he signed himself. So if his personal business is supposedly in a blind trust run by his sons, if that was the case, how come his signatures are on the disclosure forms for the stock trades and the bond trades and the amount of wealth that he is accumulating for things he directly affects?
Way, the SEC would be knocking on their door. Those are strong words from someone who used to run a hedge fund. Last month, President Trump's latest financial disclosures came out, and they show that he made more than 3,400 stock trades worth more than $250 million in just the first 3 months of 2026. That's roughly half of what all 535 members of Congress made last year combined. And the value of virtually every one of those stocks that the president traded in is directly affected by President Trump's official.
MRT, do you have the capability to be a serious person with critical thinking skills? You keep saying I have TDS. I am pointing out to you the fact that Donald Trump, and it has been pointed out, that we saw this with the disclosure forms, that he is investing in stock on companies that he then later gives praise to, and the valuation of those companies goes up. Are you aware of that, or are you just ignoring it and don't care that he is robbing you blind? People cannot afford gas. The average American cannot afford food. They're running up credit card debt, which Kevin Hassett in the administration is trying to make sound like it's a good thing when we know it's a recession indicator. But Donald Trump is making money hand over fist, investing in companies that he then effectuates the stock of. He posted a truth about Palantir, including their stock ticker, during a time where his administration was responsible for a deal to give to Palantir through the DoD and their contracts that then increased Palantir's stock. The same we saw it with Micron. We saw it with Dell. We saw it with NVIDIA. This is corruption. Why are you okay with that? Hunter Biden got paid in Ukraine because he worked for a company called Burisma. That's why. He never worked in a governmental capacity. Did he get hired because his last name is Biden? Probably. Although he also did work for Amtrak. But did he get hired because his last name is Biden? Maybe. But that was a private company that paid him. Nice whataboutism.
Actions. So, Secretary Bessent, you and I agree that it is a conflict of interest for members of Congress to trade stocks. Do you also agree that it's a conflict of interest for President Trump to trade stocks?
Well, a couple of things, Senator. One, President Trump is not sitting in the Oval Office engaging in a high-frequency trading strategy. Clearly,
Duh. Most people who trade in that way, even people in Congress who trade like that, aren't trading themselves. I think I only saw, I can't remember his name now, but there was a video of one Republican congressperson who had their laptop up at where they sit on the floor of Congress, and it had trades up on the fucking screen. So he's not doing it right because apparently he doesn't have people to do it for him. So of course Donald Trump isn't doing it himself. That's not the point. The point is he signs the forms, which she brings up. He signs the disclosure forms so he can see what stocks are being invested in. And then he is the one who then praises them or gives them contracts that then effectuate the valuation, and he makes money. Yeah, I know. Hunter never held an office. I don't care about him. I do love the amount of the shit that he is giving people on Twitter right now. The last couple days, if you have not seen what Hunter Biden has been doing on Twitter, it's been hilarious.
Clearly, he had an outside manager who was doing that. And
oh my God, now you guys are going to illegals voting. You have no proof of that. And not to a high rate that would effectuate an election. That's not why people are mad. And actually, I talked about the Virginia map. And what I said was that it looks like Virginia did not follow the policy that they were supposed to follow. The only thing fishy about that is the fact that the Virginia map went to court before the vote. And the Virginia court said, okay, this can go on to the ballot for a vote. Then they voted on it. Nothing changed from then to the vote. They voted on it and the people voted yes. Then that same court said, oh, well, no, you can't use this. So my only question is what changed from when they reviewed it before the vote to when they reviewed it after the vote. The only thing that changed was that it voted yes. But it looks like Virginia didn't follow procedure. It had nothing to do with illegal voting.
I think
Ruben says, wrong. People don't use stockbrokers no more. That's the sentence you wanted to use for your daily. Your daily sentence. You usually only get one, Ruben. Wrong. People don't use stockbrokers no more. Really? Interesting. Goodbye, Ruben. Hi, Sandwich. Bye, Sandwich. I'm so sorry for you. Your mutes are You have fun with that. Guys, if there's somebody that you would like muted in the chat, whether on TikTok or YouTube, sometimes on Twitch, but very rarely on Twitch, there's usually only one person. But if you would like to mute somebody in the chat that you no longer want to listen to, you can.
Do you want someone muted in the chat? Is there someone who's spamming, making disingenuous arguments, displaying bot behavior, or maybe they're just a dumb bitch? Well, you can keep them muted and contribute to their degradation kink. But remember, while we don't kink shame, it is perfectly acceptable to kink ask why. You can keep them muted for as little as $2 a day, $7 a week, or $25 a month. Pay links in the bio.
Okay, so you can do that. Pay links in the bio for that. Chris Wade also said, can you mute me? Jesus Christ, I need food and a nap today, I think is what I need. Can you mute me? You can. Send me $300. $300, I will mute myself for the entire day. Okay. Pay links in bio.
It's incumbent upon both houses of Congress to get their house in
Two houses, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene.
order before you move to the administrative branch.
You think it's okay for the president to do this? Because let's be clear, you are a Wall Street guy, so you know better. The investments that President Trump has made are not blind. President Trump literally signed the 113-page document publicly listing all of his individual stock trades at the same time that he is making decisions affecting those stocks. So you're going to sit here with straight face and say it's not a conflict of interest for the President of the United States to do that?
I'm going to say this body needs to get its house in order first.
How about we get the White House in order at the same time?
Oh, wait, so Congress has to fix their issues with trading, which do exist, but Congress has to fix their issues with trading first? And then the president will do it. What? How about the majority-held Republican Congress actually finally bring onto the floor Josh Hawley's Pelosi Act to keep people from trading? How about that? Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, has been putting this act forward since the Biden administration, the Pelosi Act. What it would do, it would ensure that both houses, both alike in dignity, Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives would no longer be able to trade stocks. Now, that would also include the President of the United States. Donald Trump called Josh Hawley and said, can you change it so that it is any president after me? Which is an interesting call. I wonder why he did that. Why won't that move? It's put forth by a Republican. You have a majority-held Republican Congress. Why have they not put that onto the floor to ensure that all congressional people and everybody in the cabinet and the president cannot trade stocks? Because I have no problem with that. Do it. But the fact that you're saying that they need to figure out their house before the president will do it is silly to me. He can do as much corruption as he wants because you guys haven't fixed it. What? Or he could just be a decent human and not be corrupt. That would be great.
I would encourage you to do that.
I don't trade in individual stocks. I don't own any individual stocks.
Also, by the way, you're talking to the wrong bitch about trading stocks. The wrong one. Elizabeth Warren doesn't take PAC money. Elizabeth Warren doesn't trade stocks. That's literally something she doesn't do. Again, she came into Congress to help fix the banking system after the collapse in 2008. She worked with a coalition to build the department that was the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. She did that to rein in what the banks are doing to the people. Overdraft fees, do you guys remember? She was the one within that organization that helped cap the overdraft fees under the Biden administration. You know what Donald Trump did after Doge came in? They got rid of that. So now they can charge you whatever they want in overdraft fees. Donald Trump can continue to write as many executive orders as he wants. He wrote one that said credit card interest cannot be above 10%. It didn't go into effect. Did anybody notice that your credit card interest didn't go down to 10%? Why? Because he cannot effectuate private businesses that way. You know who could? the CFPB that Elon got rid of. Gemini verdict in Discord. Let's see. Claim nobody uses stockbrokers anymore because he said no more. No more, baby, I'ma do it right. Verdict. Intermediary amputation, the short version. Claiming nobody uses stockbrokers anymore is like claiming nobody uses pilots because you booked your flight on your phone. You are legally prohibited from touching the stock market yourself. That glowing green app on your screen is the registered broker. Exactly. If you're using private apps, Robinhood, I don't know what the other ones are. I don't trade stocks, but I know Robinhood. If you're using ones like that, you're using a broker system. I don't know. Why is it bleeping what it's bleeping? I don't get to hear it. So it's interesting. But again, you picked the wrong one. She literally doesn't trade stocks.
This is in order.
Senator, you're very
Mr.
rich.
Secretary.
Others on this committee can't say that, Senator.
Let's look at some individual trades. On January 6th, Donald Trump purchased up to...
And you're right. Is it Garrow or Jarrow? I'm not sure. That's why I've been calling you G. But you are right. Mike Johnson was asked about this. Why haven't you proposed this legislation that Josh Hawley has? Why have you not restricted Congress from being able to trade stocks? Mike Johnson's response was, Congress needs to feed their family. But I guess fuck the rest of us.
$1 million worth of NVIDIA stock. 1 week later, his...
Chris, what did I lie about? Chris, what did I lie about?
Administration changed U.S. policy and loosened the rules on export controls so that NVIDIA could sell its chips to China. Now the price of NVIDIA stock is through the roof.
Okay, sorry, Chris.
So Secretary Bessent, you said last year, if any private citizen traded the way...
What did Warren lie about? What did Elizabeth Warren lie about, Chris? Now you've got me going, what'd she lie about?
Members of Congress do, quote, the SEC would be knocking on their door.
No, MRT, insider trading is illegal for Congress. Insider trading is just illegal. Insider trading is illegal for everyone. What we are saying is we want to stop them from trading stocks altogether because of the fact that they can either inside trade, which is already illegal, or they can then effectuate that trade after, right? So they can do the trade beforehand, then put in a bill or support a bill that would increase the valuation of the investment they traded in. They can still trade stocks at all. I don't want them to be able to trade stocks at all.
So my question is...
Her heritage for personal gain. What did she gain by saying she was indigenous? Can you tell me what she gained by saying she was indigenous? Because I don't see anything that she gained from that. Did Markwayne Mullins gain anything by saying he's indigenous? Because Donald Trump brags about the fact that he's indigenous. Markwayne Babyback Bitch McMullins, the DHS secretary, is supposedly Cherokee. And he just used it, by the way, to combat Al Green in an argument. And Donald Trump used it as a way to say he should be great in this position because he's indigenous. She didn't. Where did she gain preferential treatment for this? College position. Can you prove that to me? I would like to see an article where she got some sort of position in college because of her indigeneity.
Should the SEC be knocking on President Trump's door to start an investigation?
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying I might not know about it, missed. So I'm asking for the proof. That's why I'm asking for the article title. I might not have seen her say this. No, give me an article title.
Over this trade.
Again, if this body wants to ban individual stock trading, which I would advocate for yourselves, start there. And if you want legislative action to continue, that's your prerogative.
So it's our prerogative. So you would support our...
Thank you, Naomi.
Saying that President Trump should be investigated over this?
I would support...
Our trade should be investigated and President Trump should be investigated.
I would support you getting your house in order, Senator.
And how about the White House getting its house in order?
Again,
would you support that investigation?
Please lead by example.
I would like to see the President of the United States...
Lead by example. He is the President of the United States of America.
United States lead by example. You say there should be an investigation when that kind of activity takes place. How about we start with the White House?
Well,
Let's do
create
one
statute.
more.
The President
Trump bought tens of thousands of dollars worth of stock.
That's true. Congress creates statute. The president does not. Yes, of course. It's a majority Republican-held Congress. Why haven't they brought this up? Let's see. What am I finding? She apologized. She didn't say that she used it for gain, which is what your claim was. Warren offers a public apology over claim of tribal heritage. She says, quote, like anyone who has been honest with themselves, I know I have made mistakes. I'm sorry for the harm I caused. She claimed tribal ancestry, which culminated in a widely criticized release of a DNA analysis last year. The issue nearly derailed her campaign in the early days as President Donald Trump began derisively referring to her as Pocahontas. Now that Warren is gaining in most polls, she's trying to prove to voters that the controversy won't doom her in a general election. That's not what you said, though. You said that she admitted to using it for gain. She didn't admit that. She did not admit that. She apologized for claiming it when her DNA then proved otherwise, but she didn't admit that she used it for gain. Try again.
In Robinhood and the Bank of New York Mellon Corporation, known as BNY. On April 6th, your Treasury Department announced it had chosen the financial agent to implement the new Trump accounts program, BNY.
Apology is an admission? No, it's not. She apologized for claiming tribal heritage when she didn't have it in her DNA. She did not apologize for using it to gain something. Those are two different things. If she apologized for using it to gain something, then I'd be right there with you. That's ridiculous. But she didn't say that.
And its partner, Robinhood. Both stocks, of course, have risen since then. So, Secretary Bessent, let me ask you a different question. If these stock purchases that Trump made were made using inside information, would that be illegal?
Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to speak to that. And I think...
Would it be worth investigating?
I'm not triggered, Nancy. I'm very passionate. I'm passionate about facts. That's all. Hi, Monster. We're watching Elizabeth Warren scorch Scott Bessent about Donald Trump increasing his wealth with corruption.
You don't have to be a lawyer. You're the one who said what should be investigated.
Why don't we investigate many people in this committee, Senator? Many people.
Okay, investigate them. I'm with you. Investigate them and the president. Let's go, Bessent. I'm with you. I'll stand right behind you. Let's go.
And you don't think the White House should have to follow the same set of rules that are already the law?
I think you should get your house in order here.
My house is in order. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Again, her house, Elizabeth Warren, does not trade stocks, does not take PAC money.
You should have your fellow committee members, mostly on your side of the aisle, do the same.
We need stronger anti-corruption rules and conflict of interest rules in Washington for everyone. And that includes the president and it includes Congress. And instead of draining the swamp, what Donald Trump is doing is
I didn't say, Nancy, even Chris, who disagrees with me, understood what I said. I didn't say compassion. Nancy just said compassion doesn't get you anywhere. I didn't say compassion. I said passion. I have passion.
is enriching himself by taking advantage of his position. That is not public service. He's the one who should lead by example.
Senator Barrasso.
Thanks, Michelle. Well, talking about
Chris, you were doing so well, and then you said that comment. You were doing so well. Okay. Warnock, back to Raphael Warnock for Scott Bessent in talking about the One Big Beautiful Bill and the tax cuts and how extending the billionaire tax cut, was it a good investment? Did it help? Again, we fund our government with taxes. If you are not taxing and actually cutting the taxes of the rich, how does that help us fund our government? Peter, thank you so much for giving me crabs. I appreciate it.
I think it's interesting that Republicans talk about it when Democrats are in charge, but I haven't heard much discussion about the national debt lately. According to our nonpartisan scorekeepers in the Congressional Budget Office, it will add $5 trillion to national debt. Do you still think that driving deeper into debt to extend billionaire tax cuts were a good investment?
Sir, that 90% of the filers who availed themselves on President Trump's signature policies make below $100,000. And if you want to know who is responsible for the American people, you all torched them during the Biden administration. I'm not sure if you were part of that. But we had 21.5%.
Look, Joe Biden has been out of office 2 years, and the fact that you all keep talking about it.
Biden has been out of office for 1.5 years. If he is so terrible, Can we please stop talking about him? Yeah. I'll probably just send you the whole Bessent section, to be honest. It's only 3 videos.
Negative
Tells you
wage
everything.
growth.
Sir, I'm asking you a basic question. Do you think that going into debt to extend billionaire tax cuts was a good investment? Yes or no?
I disagree with the categorization of billionaire tax cuts when, in fact, most of the tax cuts went to working Americans.
According to the...
If you are talking about by number, since a majority of people are not billionaires, yes, a majority of people got tax cuts who made under $100,000 a year. However, just fix the issues. If Biden was so bad, stop bitching about him and fix it. But you did give tax cuts to billionaires. You absolutely did. And we talked about it. I played the video where Murray spoke about it with a doctor who was in the administration. I'm guessing she's a doctor of economics, talking about the fact that the Social Security tax of what gets paid of that, billionaires are paying like 0.0001% of that. They're not paying shit. And we have to pay, I think it was about like 12 or 24%. I can't remember. It's one of those numbers. I always get them kind of confused. If you're making $185,000 or less, what you're paying on Social Security versus what a billionaire is, because of this tax plan, it fucks the American people. Why do we keep glazing the taint of billionaires? I don't understand it.
You were quoting the Congressional Budget Office, which...
According to the Yale Budget Office, the Yale Budget Lab...
The Yale Budget Lab is a bunch of Biden hacks.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you should talk to the people in Georgia. They will tell you, sir, that whatever tax relief you think you gave them was more than taken up by these tariffs. They according to the Yale Budget Lab, the administration's tariffs cost families 3 times as much as they got back in tax cuts. But I don't have to talk to folks at Yale. I talked to the folks in Georgia. How about the Iran war, which is costing tens of billions of dollars?
Which is the clip that we saw. Again, proof that Yale is full of a bunch of Biden hacks. What's the proof of that? What is the proof that they're not qualified to do what they did? Actually, I'm going to make these ones purple. So then I remember, because I'll forget to send them to Ari if I just do them red. So we're going to make them purple. So that I can remember. Yeah, stop. Highlight the whole thing. Cut it out. Be nice. Okay. And then Scott Bessent, who's in charge of the Treasury, gets asked about what they asked Todd Blanche about, which is the immunity being given as part of this settlement with the Anti-Weaponization Fund for auditing, for the lack of auditing, immunity from auditing Trump and his family from tax returns from here in perpetuity.
Mr. Secretary, do you believe that all Americans
I apologize. It seems as loud as I can get it, so I'm going to mute so it's quieter.
should follow our tax laws?
Yes, Congress.
Yes, good. So do I. And do you believe that for those Americans who break our tax laws, they should be audited or held accountable?
Well, I think there are 2 things there. An audit is not a result of breaking the law.
Yes or no? Simple question.
Well, no, it's not a simple question. It's
okay,
a 2-part
then
question.
let me break it into 2. Do you think they should?
If you're asking
please
me,
don't
should every
interrupt
taxpayer
me.
be audited?
Please answer that. I came here for answers. If you came here to waste time, I'm going to try to make sure you don't do that. Do you believe that people who lie on their tax returns should be audited?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that people who break our laws should be held accountable, our tax laws?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Very simple. Not a hard question. I'm glad we agree. So why is it that you are allowing President Trump to have complete immunity from being audited?
Again, I'm going to have to refer you to my previous statements. And
what was your previous statement, sir?
That I am unable to comment on any of the ongoing litigation.
Okay, can you name the ongoing case?
Okay, so he's claiming that he cannot talk about the immunity for Trump and his businesses and his family from tax audit because of ongoing litigation. How is she setting him up? He could just answer the question, Cap. He said it. He's the one who said it. She didn't make him say that there's ongoing litigation for why he can't answer. So he said there's ongoing litigation. Can you name the case? Because there would be a case number. or a court or a judge assigned.
Litigation.
Okay, can you name the ongoing case concerning President Trump's immunity from audit?
Sorry?
Can you name?
There are 3 cases.
Can you name them, please?
That are out there now, and I will be happy to get back to you on those because.
You don't know? He's not, Chris. He dropped that. He dropped that suit, Chris. He's not suing the IRS. Actually, a judge is talking about making him bring the suit back up. But that has nothing to do with the separate memo from Todd Blanche, which, by the way, we won't have time to get to, but Todd Blanche talks about the fact that this is separate from the settlement, but also a part of the settlement. He says that in front of Congress. Todd Blanche says that the immunity from tax audit is a separate memo, but also part of the settlement. What ongoing litigation? Dropped it because of the agreement that the judge did not approve, Chris. The judge is pissed because the judge did not approve it. It was not in the filing documents for dropping the suit. They're calling this a settlement, and that is why it is being brought back into court, because the judge is saying that you used the court system for nefarious means, because there was no settlement.
Again, I am not a lawyer.
Okay.
We are represented by the DOJ.
Great, you said that you can't because there's ongoing litigation. You'll get me the name of the ongoing litigation, because the only ongoing litigation that I know of is surrounding the $1.8 million slush fund, which has already been suspended. The fact is that the judge's ruling in the litigation.
Then we'll see. We'll see. Okay. We'll see. If, I'm not going to say when, if it gets struck down, if the judge comes out and says, you cannot do the tax audit part and you cannot do the anti-weaponization fund part, will you agree with them, or are you going to go off of Donald Trump's rants of most likely saying it was a radical leftist judge?
That references that slush fund only addresses the anti-weaponization fund. It doesn't even address Trump's immunity from audit. So I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the judge's order in the Floyd versus Department of Justice case.
Without objection.
Thank you.
If there's ongoing litigation, we would know what that litigation is in regards to why you can't talk about the stocks. Or the stocks, excuse me. Why you can't talk about the audits, the immunity from audits. You know what? Actually, my Blanche section is not that bad. Let's do it because it goes right into it. So this is DeLauro talking to Blanche about that. We're going to keep doing it. Guys, holy crap, I didn't even realize. Why don't you guys yell at me for that? You guys should yell at me for that when we hit 100,000 because I won't notice. And I apologize. W Tappers, holy crap, after a restart, you guys got me to 113,000 likes. Thank you guys so much. You guys are fucking amazing. You've been good boys, girls, and non-binary pals. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you. So yeah, we're going to continue on. We're going to keep going. Thank you guys for hitting, yeah, Matthew, they don't like that one. Thank you guys for hitting my goal as well. Don't forget we have little gift goals. I think I still have the finger hearts that we can get accomplished while we're sitting here. I would appreciate it. Monster, it's something TikTok did. TikTok did it. I can change it, but I can't be live to change it. And everybody kind of thinks it's funny, I guess, because they want to see what words get bleeped. So this is DeLauro talking to Blanche about this blanket immunity for Trump's family. Now, Blanche does not say there's ongoing litigation, so he can't talk about it. He actually does speak on it.
Do you want an answer?
Yeah.
Okay, so not yes or no. You gave me 3 documents. The only document I said we're not moving forward on today is the first document identified, which is the anti-weaponization fund. There's still a settlement agreement, and there's still the second document I signed is not an addendum. It's a separate Attorney General order.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not an addendum to the settlement. It is a separate memo. Naomi, thank you. It's separate, but it's later he's going to say it's part of the settlement.
Okay. So, but you're not going to rescind the addendum, not an addendum, the second order?
No.
The only thing you're talking about here, so the blanket immunity is not something that you're going to move back on?
It's not blanket immunity. That's not true.
It is.
No, it's not.
It is. We read the fucking memo. We read it. It is blanket immunity. Thank you, Chris. It is blanket immunity for Trump, his children, and his businesses and their businesses. It is blanket immunity from them being audited in perpetuity.
Okay. United States releases, waives, acquits, and forever discharges each of the plaintiffs from and is hereby.
And she's reading it now.
Forever barred and precluded from prosecuting or pursuing any and all claims, counterclaims, causes of actions, appeals, requests for any reliefs. I mean, this is an order from you, but you're not prepared. You are prepared to say that the president and his family.
You know what? She didn't do a good enough job, so what we're going to do is we're going to go find it. I've shown it before. We read it. I'm going to bring it up again. Let's see if I can find the actual memo. Here it is. Okay. Let's read it. DeLauro didn't do a good enough job. We're going to read it. This is what Todd Blanche, that's his signature. This is what Todd Blanche signed. He said it's not blanket immunity. Okay. This is talking about the weaponization fund in Part A, so we're going to ignore that. Part B is talking about capitalized terms shall have the same meaning as in the settlement agreement. So we're going to read Part C, because that's the part we're talking about in way of the audit. Tell me where like Blue said, tell me where there's a restriction here. Where's the restrictions if this is not blanket? The United States releases, waives, acquits, and forever discharges each of the plaintiffs from, and is hereby forever barred and precluded from prosecuting or pursuing any and all claims, counterclaims, causes of action, appeals, or requests for any relief, including injunctive relief, that's going to be court, monetary relief, damages, examinations, or similar or related reviews, appeals, debt relief, costs, attorney's fees, expenses, and or interest, whether presently known or unknown, that as of the effective date of the settlement agreement have been or could have been asserted by defendants against any of the plaintiffs or related or affiliate individuals, including, without limitation, family or others filing jointly, or parties including trusts, parent, sister, or related companies, affiliates and subsidiaries by reason of, with respect to, in connection with, or which arise out of 1, any matters that were raised or could have been raised in the case or the pending agency claims, 2, lawfare and or weaponization, or 3, any matters currently pending or that could be pending, including tax returns filed before the effective date before defendants or other agencies' departments. Where is the restriction? Looks like blanket immunity to me.
Will be barred, are immune from. That's a yes.
No, it was not a yes. I had not answered the question. I can't answer if you want me to.
What are you doing with this?
Okay, so there was a settlement, which is one of the documents.
Such a wonderful sign of intelligence, RLTW 795 says, blah, 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 blah. Just because you don't understand legalese, it's not my problem.
You showed, okay. Part of the settlement included the second order that you just held up.
Right.
And that is still, nothing has changed with that. What I said today, what I've said a couple times today, as what we talked about yesterday, is we're not moving forward with the anti-weaponization fund.
Okay, but you are moving forward with this second order.
It's not moving forward. There's a settlement. There's a settlement that the IRS entered into with President Trump and others, his family and his companies.
Again, what that means is he was able to settle with himself. Except the problem with that is this was not listed in any kind of court settlement documents. They did not bring this in front of a judge to have a settlement approved. What that means is that they did, as it is alleged in the lawsuits, they did use the court for nefarious means. They threatened court by suing us, having Trump sue us in a personal capacity, and then the courts We're still going through the court. He then dropped the suit and is now calling this side deal between him and the IRS he is in charge of a settlement. It's not. It wasn't reviewed by a judge. It was not approved by a judge. This is him circumventing the court system to allow himself to get benefit. It's honestly almost worse than the anti-weaponization fund. I know we talk about the anti-weaponization fund. This is almost worse. That he's allowing himself to get out of this. And the fact that you guys let him.
Part of that settlement, as is customary in IRS settlements, there's the separate AG order.
Friends, listen to what is being said here today here. This is really pretty extraordinary. That we are going to forever...
Jerry, I do not owe Trump my life. No fucking thank you. Get help.
...barred and precluded from examining or prosecuting the president, his sons, and the Trump organization's current tax filings. Simply put, you just gave the president and his family a tax immunity to the tune of about $100 million.
Not true.
Now, the reason she says that number is that there is reporting and rumor, so I don't know that I like that she says it, but there is rumor that if he were to be audited and prosecuted, there is upwards of, supposedly, allegedly, $100 million worth of tax fraud.
Well, yes, you have, my friend.
That's not true.
You know,
it is true. You just admitted that it's true. We just read the memo that it's true. Now, she's bringing in again the blanket immunity, but she's talking about the fact that he, again, don't forget, this was Donald Trump's personal lawyer before he became deputy attorney general. He is now acting attorney general. There are now reporting today that Donald Trump is planning on nominating him as acting general. This was Donald Trump's personal motherfucking lawyer. His personal lawyer. He was also paid by a super PAC.
Simply put, you just gave the president and his family a tax immunity to the tune of about $100 million.
Not true.
Well, yes, you have, my friend.
No, that's not true.
You know, look, and I just want to say this. The Save America paid you nearly $10 million between March of 2024 and December of 2024 to serve as the President Trump's personal defense attorney.
Remember, personal attorney. So she's saying that the Save America PAC paid him upwards of $10 million to be Donald Trump's personal attorney.
My God, don't you not find there's any conflict of interest in what you are doing here as the acting Attorney General of the United States?
I didn't. What are you saying is a conflict? I don't.
That you were his personal attorney and you are now in a position giving him and his family a personal benefit of not having their taxes audited ever. That is a conflict of interest. You are not an independent agent right now. You are not acting like an independent agent.
I understand what you're saying.
Simply.
Yeah, his personal sex crime attorney is true. That was his lawyer during that time. Why are you guys okay with this corruption? Why? This is Senator Wyden on the IRS audit immunity.
The other part of this settlement apparently remains in place.
You don't think what's true, John? Which part? I'm not being condescending. I'm legitimately asking. How would there not be a conflict of interest? If Joe Biden, since you guys like to whataboutism,
what about Biden?
If Joe Biden had his personal attorney put in as the deputy attorney general and then acting attorney general, would there be a conflict of interest? Do you think? No, not all politicians are corrupt. That's not true. Not all of them. Some of them, a lot of them, not all of them.
And that is the part that presents the biggest direct benefit to Trump. Todd Blanche let Trump off the hook for potentially $100 million in back taxes by canceling what's reported to be a long-running dispute with the IRS. Then he let the entire Trump...
Oh, no, I would not. The archive, I would not support that if he did it. I don't even support his pardons. I don't think he should have pardoned his son. I don't think he should have pardoned Liz Cheney or Anthony Fauci. I absolutely don't agree with that. I don't like the pardon power. I think the pardon power is too much. I think it should be left to a committee. I know that like a committee advises them, but I think the decision should be left up to the committee. I don't think it should be up to the president. I think that power is way too strong. I don't agree with that at all.
Family and the Trump organization off the hook for any tax crimes they may have committed in the past.
Yeah, Blue, that's what I was saying. That's the reporting that's coming out today, is that he's going to nominate Todd Blanche for the permanent seat of acting attorney general. He's going to have to get past Congress, which is going to be interesting, but.
As of right now, everybody in America is subject to audit except the Trump family. The other part of this settlement.
She sells seashells on the seashore. I can't wait to see how the seashell case pans out. It's going to be an interesting one. And then what do I want to do here? Because I'm going to go around a little bit. So this is where Blanche says that this is the part I was talking about, where he says we're not moving forward with the anti-weaponization fund, period. Now, they asked him to put this in writing. He is refusing to do so, which apparently we can see why, because Donald Trump is talking about it as if it is still going on, that they're just following court orders. But Blanche is the one who's saying this. By the way, Mike Lawler, who is an absolute Republican piece of shit, even came out yesterday, I believe on CNN. I don't think it was Fox. The colors in my head, I think, were CNN. But Mike Lawler, a Republican, came out and said that there's not support for it in Congress. That's it. But again, I would like to see it in writing, Todd Blanche, since you're so good at writing memos, right, Todd Blanche? You can write one on audit immunity. Why can't you write one that the anti-weaponization fund is dead? But I just want to play it. So we make note. He says it's dead. We're not moving forward. That's what he said. The same thing he said about the Epstein files, but we could talk about that another time. We're going to not move forward with the anti-weaponization fund. Just keep a note of it in case they lie to you, because they like to do that. Or they try to do it under wraps, because they also do that.
Mr. Attorney General, I wanted to ask a few questions about the anti-weaponization fund. We know that the department has agreed to pause this effort until at least June 12th. I wanted to ask what your plans were for the fund after June 12th.
So thank you. So look, we're not moving forward with the fund. You're right that there's a date that in the case in the Eastern District of Virginia in June, but we are not moving forward with the fund, period. The reasons for the fund is something that President Trump talked about for a long time, which is the fact that there were a lot of people in this country who had their government weaponized against them. The reasons for the fund, I think, remain as important as they were before.
By the way, there's already a system that exists for people who have had the government weaponized against them. It's called the judicial system. They can sue.
But we are not moving forward with the fund.
Not moving forward ever?
Correct.
Oh, there's no more fund then?
Well, to the extent there was a fund, and remember the fund wasn't set up yet. There were no commissioners named. There was no claimants brought anything in.
Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Can you say it again? You're kind of splitting up on me.
Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yeah, I'm 49. I live in Illinois, and I voted for Trump. Big baby.
Do you still have the stream on in the background by chance?
No, I lowered it right now.
Okay, thank you. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Because he's the lesser of two evils, and America's 250 years old. That's been bankrupt multiple times, government shutdowns multiple times, civil rights movements, riots, protests, all types of stuff pre-2015 before Trump ever stepped foot on the scene in the political realm.
Hold on. You're supporting him because he's the lesser of two evils? Can anybody take his spot right now that I'm missing?
MTG, Bobart, there's certain people I like. There's certain people like Tucker Carlson if he decided to run.
Why are we talking about lesser of two evils when he won the presidency? I'm talking about why you support him now.
Yeah, I just told you why. I mean, this nation's 250 years old, but it's built by illegal migrants, or what you would like to say, built by foreigners, or however you want to word it.
You can
but
call
why
them
isn't America? Why isn't America a nation 250 years old, built by Americans? Why is it built by foreigners?
It was built by slaves.
Okay, now who did those slaves? Who brought them here? Who did this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get to the underlining point of the root of all evil.
The white capitalists who brought them in here for the benefit of building this nation, and they also are the same ones who wrote our Constitution. What do you mean?
Well, which white people? White Americans, white Europeans, white Scandinavians?
It depends on where they came from at the
Vikings?
time. Like Hamilton didn't own slaves because he was actually one of the poorer of the founding fathers, but he came from Haiti because that was where they had a colony from the, I guess it wasn't the UK at the time. It would have been London, England, but what does that matter? It was white people who had slaves and the Chinese and then the indigenous and then the immigrants
Yeah,
from
everybody
Mexico.
had slaves.
Sure, but they built but they built this nation. Again, I'm still not getting why you're supporting Donald Trump.
Well, because there's an underlining evil. It's a war between good and evil right now. But who's actually Satan behind the scenes, behind the curtain? Look at Hollywood, for instance. You can't move forward in life in Hollywood without putting on a dress, without selling your soul, without doing this. And if not, they'll just leave you alone, and you got to move out of there because you can't afford it.
Is
so
Donald?
who's the underlining
you're
issue?
saying, okay. You're saying there is good versus evil. Is Donald Trump the good in this scenario?
In this scenario, yeah, because he wants to make America first. He wants to restore our republic.
Okay, cool. Stop. What policy is he putting in? What piece of legislation is he doing that is America first?
He's bringing jobs back to America.
How?
His
Nope.
tax
What jobs?
cuts.
Hold on. Don't ramble. Stop. What jobs has he
I'm
brought?
not rambling.
What jobs has he brought back to America?
Oh, so what you're saying is like Joe Biden with his chips and science tech and all this.
No.
That's
What I'm
supposed to
saying.
take
Whoa,
years.
why are we
that
talking?
takes years.
What about Biden? Why are we talking
'Cause
about
you
Joe Biden?
can't
I am asking you. I asked you a question. You said he is bringing jobs back to America. All I asked you is what jobs he brought back to America. Can you give me an example of jobs he's brought back to America?
He went to multiple countries and secured billions of dollars
No, he didn't.
for other countries that have their facilities built here
No, he
because
didn't.
they have
Give
all
me an
the
example.
all
Give me an example.
like China and Japan with the car market. They're building facilities here. What did Joe Biden do with his Chips and Science Act? He's doing the NDAA 224. And they're going to have Israel run it all.
Do you know who the Bilderberg Group is?
Yes, I do.
Of course you do.
And
That's weird. I just want to show everybody. I went to type in, is China building? And I was going to say manufacturing plants in the United States. It says a base on the moon. That's the fill-in.
What?
That's the fill-in. All I typed in is China building. And Google was like, a base on the moon?
Evil.
But I don't even got to look that up anymore. All right, let's get back
Evil.
to evil. Let's get back to. Well, are they?
Actual.
Are they? Well, that's the new space race, right, babe? Is we are going to build a base on the moon before China does. Nobody owns the moon. Please stop. Leave the moon alone. She didn't do anything to you. Leave her alone.
In front of there was no claims made yet, so yes, we're not moving forward with the.
Descrubalo, that was actually completely on point. What he was doing is he was being anti-Semitic in his rhetoric. He's being anti-Jewish in his rhetoric. And so the fact that he knows who the Bilderberg Group is and the conspiracy theory surrounding the Bilderberg Group was actually exactly on topic. You're telling me he was on topic?
Fund.
You and Associate Attorney General Woodward.
So Buckeye, I have talked about the SPLC ad nauseum. We read the entire 14-page indictment here on my show. I need to start naming my titles of my shows actually about my outline, I think, because then it's going to be easier for them to find. But I did talk about it. I've talked about it multiple times. I've read the entire 14-page indictment. The fact that you are saying that they are faking and funding hate groups is incorrect. The allegation, the SPLC, that's my jam. I love it, law. I love it so much. It's such an easy case to look at. What they are alleging is that they defrauded the donators, people who donated to the SPLC, by paying for informants, which, by the way, I'm so glad we're here. This is Todd Blanche. He's the acting AG right now, the acting attorney general. He has had to come out and actually put out memos from the Justice Department correcting himself from that indictment, where they claimed that they were not notified that they were paying informants. The SPLC showed them the paperwork where they had told the DOJ, they were paying these informants, and Todd Blanche had to come out and say, oops, yep, you're right, they told us about this. That case is going to fall the fuck apart. I just want you to know. Again, this is an indictment. This is alleged. This is not fact yet, right? Because it's going through court. Okay. The DOJ has multiple indictments with no evidence. They have allegations. Yeah, I wonder if he looked at the last filing from the SPLC, noting material misinformation in the complaint. You guys don't pay attention to court. You pay attention to headlines, which is why I try to find the actual information, the actual court filing, and read the indictments and read the memos that come out after the fact. You guys just read headlines. Do better.
Signed earlier documents regarding the settlement and this fund. Would both of you now sign and release?
Yes, the SPLC was paying the leaders, supposedly, of KKK and other hate groups as informants. Our FBI does the same thing.
Documents reversing the DOJ's position on the fund?
We're not moving forward with the fund. I'm not sure what that means to sign documents reversing. There's nothing to reverse. We're not moving forward with the fund.
You could write a document that says that you will not create this fund in the future. At the date or an episode. I do. I have the date in my title. I have the date. I just never remember exactly what I talked about on that day, to be fair.
We know about the court case, the decision, when we've heard press reports.
Prove to me that they reimbursed cross-burning, Buckeye, because that's not in the indictment, is it? Buckeye, you didn't read it.
It's obviously, but is there any way that you could put this in writing? I don't know if there are other ways that you could use another vehicle to move forward with a similar fund or similar intention. And we just want to reassure the American public. We've heard from both Republicans and Democrats, constituents and Americans across the country about this fund. And I think they would love to be reassured that this fund will not progress.
I'm telling you it's not. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not trying to be flippant with you. I'm just saying I'm telling you it's not. I'm not. That there's we put out a statement yesterday. There's been an injunction, a temporary injunction filed in EDVA. There's litigation in D.C. There's litigation in the Southern District of Florida. But notwithstanding what we do in those litigations and defending our rights and making sure our rights are protected, we're not moving forward with the fund.
Okay. Yeah, the statement I thought was just about until June 12th. So if it won't progress after June 12th, that's great to hear. And we hope to see this in writing. Yeah.
I mean, I think there'll be a transcript of what I say here, so that will be in writing.
Okay, well, we will work with you and hold you to it. Thank you very much. We'll
hold you to it. That's why I played it. Yeah, he's chirping in YouTube. Actually, in way of showing you that I am honest, here, this is from the DOJ's website. Okay? This is the indictment. 14 pages, just like I told you, right? Because I didn't... Oh, shoot, you can't see it. This is the indictment for the SPLC, United States of America versus Southern Poverty Law Center. It's 14 pages, just like I told you, right? So what I did is I searched cross, okay? So let's go back up, sorry, one, across, across, across. Oh, cross-burning, okay, ready? There's cross-burning in this. Now, your claim, Buckeye, was that they reimbursed him for cross-burning, except that's not what this says. It says F43, which is the number, the names that they're giving to the informants, was the reported national president of American Front and a convicted federal felon for his participation in a cross-burning. Okay, so he was convicted of cross-burning. Between 2016 and 2019, the SPLC allegedly secretly paid F43 more than $19,000. Now, what you said is that they paid him for that cross burning. No, he was already a convicted federal felon for his participation in the cross burning. That's not what they paid him for. They paid him to be an informant in America Front. Okay. Guys, this all does go into my outline. I will put these in my outline in case you missed it so that you can read it. Again, we went over it, but in case you need to read it, I'll read it. Don't make claims that aren't true, though. Just be honest. Again, they can pay informants. They're allowed to pay informants. And actually, under the SPLC's website, when they ask for donations, they ask for these donations to take down these organizations, giving those, having informants to give them those information that they then, by the way, DOJ came out and admitted that the SPLC gave them information on these informants that later led to arrests in these hate groups. Just proves that they didn't defraud anyone. Okay, glad we could get there. All right, 2 more things on Blanche and we will get out of here because I am past my time. But I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. So this is Ivy talking to Todd Blanche about pardons. Again, those things that I say I disagree with. I disagree with pardons. I think the pardon power is too much for a president to decide alone. I know he gets advice from a committee. I think the committee should make the choice on their own without the president. I do not agree with how powerful the pardon power is personally. I just don't. So Blanche is going to say that who the president chooses to pardon is not a problem. I think it is. I don't think the president should be able to pardon his own son, right? And he did. But talking about the fact that bribery can be involved, we have seen where he has pardoned people, and we find that their family or them themselves donated to Trump's PAC or his campaign or to him, or invested in World Liberty Financial, which is his crypto company. We've seen this. So it leads to bribery. By the way, maybe I'll get a chance to show it because fucking I'm already over my time. We'll talk about George Santos.
Why haven't you appointed a special prosecutor to take a look at this? This looks on its face.
I agree, Jay. He pardoned his crackhead son. I'm aware. He shouldn't have done that.
This looks like a quid pro quo scenario that should be investigated. Why haven't you taken that step?
Well, the power to pardon in our Constitution is given to the President of the United States. The Constitution does not require him to provide any explanation for who he chooses to pardon or not pardon, or commute or not commute. And so I very much reject the idea that
Why did Hunter get pardoned? Probably because that's his dad. But also Hunter was investigated, charged, convicted, and pled guilty under the Biden administration. So
the premise that this looks like something is a basis for me to appoint a special prosecutor.
Let me reclaim my time. The Constitution.
Yes, appoint a special prosecutor. When there was thought that there was some sort of crime or corruption or issue with Joe Biden, the Republicans appointed Robert Hur. Yes, appoint a special prosecutor. That's why Mueller was tasked, right? You appoint a special prosecutor so that there is no... it does not seem at all like there's any kind of conflict of interest because you are appointed by the president. Yes, independent.
Gives him absolute power to pardon. It does not give power to pardon in exchange for payments, clearly. And a $2.1 billion payment to his family, and we'll set aside the fact that he should have divested from all of those interests anyway, but the fact that he gave that he gets the $2 billion piece, and then a few months later pardons the guy who was guilty.
I just have to point out that Michael just said the Democrats are so stupid. And if you looked at what Obama's about to get in trouble for after all the shit they put Trump through, nothing's happening to Obama. Do you know that they dropped the case for the auto pen on Biden too? Did you know that? The DOJ just came out and quietly admitted that they dropped the case about the auto pen. No, they're not doing anything to Obama.
Guilty of money laundering and providing money to, or helping to finance the money laundering operation for ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the guys we're fighting in Iran right now, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. That's not a problem?
Who he chooses to pardon is not a problem, period. And you're saying all these things that are just not true.
What's the legal basis for that statement?
Again, hold on to that. Not only bribery, but George Santos.
The Constitution of our United States.
The Constitution does not give him the authority to pardon in exchange for payments. It does not permit bribery.
For payments? You told me nothing about exchange for payments. You said there's...
What is Biden under investigation for, Michael? For what?
Just put a bunch of facts together.
Well, that's why you need a special prosecutor. Shouldn't somebody clearly you're not going to do it. Shouldn't somebody be appointed a truly experienced prosecutor to take a look at this and conduct the investigation. And then if he reaches the conclusion that you're right, that's fine. But if he finds that there's a problem with what the president did or his family, then he should move forward with prosecuting that case.
Expired.
I very much disagree.
But why aren't you willing to do it? Why aren't you willing to appoint a special prosecutor to look into his pardons? And if they're wrong, they're wrong. Like, right, if they come out and they say all of his pardons were on the up and up, then there's no issue here. Don't have any issue with that. That is fine. So I am going to show this real quick, just because it's in that same vein, and then we'll get out of here. DOJ is investigating former Congressman George Santos for insider trading on Kalshi. In February, 4 months after being released from federal prison, former Republican Congressman George Santos took to social media to express his enthusiasm about attending President Trump's upcoming State of the Union address. Quote, "I'm going to be there for the State of the Union in the gallery, guys," Santos said in a video he posted to X a day before the president's remarks. At the time, traders on the prediction market site Kalshi were placing millions of dollars worth of bets on who would attend. Santos's video confirming his presence sent odds soaring, but he didn't show up. Watching State of the Union from an airport TV was not part of the plan. Fuck my life, Santos wrote on X using slang for a more coarse way of saying screw my life. I said it out. Did TikTok believe it? He posted the message as Trump was speaking, making those same odds in the Kalshi market plummet. What Santos didn't say was that he had already placed bets on Kalshi that he was not going to appear at the State of the Union address, according to 3 people with direct knowledge of his trades who were not authorized to speak publicly. They say Santos misled the public and turned a profit based on that deception in the tens of thousands of dollars. Kalshi detected Santos's trades, froze his account, and referred the case to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and the Department of Justice, which both opened investigations into Santos, according to 2 people familiar with Kalshi's investigation who was not authorized to speak publicly. Neither the CFTC nor the Justice Department returned requests for comments. Kalshi declined to comment. Reached by NPR, Santos said, "Well, that's news to me," when asked about the insider trading probe underway into his activity on Kalshi. If you know anything about Santos, it is only going to be about a week until he says he's the one who invented Kalshi. So, that'll be fine. Santos said, "I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no," when NPR questioned him whether he had a Kalshi account. He went on to say the co-founder of Kalshi, Luana Lopes Lara, is a fellow Brazilian and who he personally knows. See, I told you! He said he would call her to get to the bottom of whether an investigation had been launched. Santos promised to update NPR on how the call went. He did not respond to NPR's follow-up messages. The person familiar with Kalshi's investigation said Santos, the son of Brazilian immigrants, does not know Laura, a Brazilian American. If you know anything about George Santos, and if you don't, I'm so sorry, you need to look into George Santos. This man lies all the time. He lies about things that he says he was a part of. He helped to found, I helped found this company. No, he didn't. He lies all the time. Kalshi reached out to Santos to interview him as part of the investigation, but he has dodged those requests, according to that same person. A post on X on Thursday, Santos said, "My legal team is in contact with the DOJ to see what is going on." Now, again, the DOJ is doing that. Here's some of his lies. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. The 37-year-old former Republican congressman from New York ran for office telling a series of lies and fabrications about his personal life. Those include that he graduated from Baruch College in the top 1% of his class. He also said that his mother was working in the South Tower of the World Trade Center during the September 11th attacks. The stories about his academic performance and his mother turned out to be false. He said he was Jewish. He is not. And he claimed that his grandparents escaped the Holocaust. They did not. Virtually everything that he put out about himself when he was running for office was manufactured. You had to wonder whether anything he ever said about himself had any basis in reality. In 2023, Santos was sworn in as a U.S. representative, and by May of that year, he was hit with an indictment. Federal prosecutors charged him with 13 counts of wire fraud, money laundering, and stealing money from political donors. He was expelled from Congress in 2023. A judge later handed him a sentence of more than 7 years in federal prison. Do you want to guess what happened? Does anybody want to guess what happened to George Santos after that conviction? Donald Trump pardoned him in October of 2025. He commuted his sentence. He was sentenced to 87 months imprisonment, 2 years supervised release with a $337,749.97 restitution. Why? He was convicted of wire fraud for the party program scheme and aggravated identity theft. And Donald Trump pardoned him. George Anthony DeValder Santos, I guess. But he served only 4 months because Trump commuted his sentence last October. George Santos was somewhat of a rogue, but there are many rogues throughout our country that aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison, the president wrote on Truth Social at the time. And then he went on to be investigated for more fraud. Donald Trump's doing great. Fraud, waste, and abuse, guys. Fraud, waste, and abuse. Doing great. Love that for us. Love that for us. All right. Guys, we had 170. Whoa. Oh my God. I did that thing like when you're in a swimming pool and you get water up your nose, but it was my own spit. Oh my God, I hate this for me. Thank you guys so much for hitting 175,000 likes now. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for knocking the fuck out of that goal today. You guys are fucking amazing. I know I hit that restart, so it was a little more difficult, and so I'm even more proud of you that you guys were able to do that. Thank you. Guys, I just want you to know that every single day that you would like Blue to not be a mod, it's going to be $30 for every single day that you don't want him to be a mod because he's a hater. Aladdin did get turned into a prince. I don't know what this fake ID is that you think that Genie gave him because it didn't happen. And so you and I have problems with that now. Oh, Santos also... Is this new? Oh, 2023, he stole money from a veteran. I'm fucking shocked. Well, he invented veterans. So, you know what, Blue? Like, he invented veterans. Bofa, we're never not going to be on this. We're just going to keep talking about this forever. Just want everybody to know. How dare. Can we crowdfund this unmodding? He got unmodded today. He'll get to be modded again once I'm done. It's fine. Thank you guys so much for the support. I appreciate you. Let's see. Who we gonna raid? Who we gonna raid? I have to go back to my regular account to see. 6, 7. Thank you, Chris. He was still a mod on the tubes. Yes, but he wasn't over there, to be fair, so it's fine. Erica's live. Erica's back. Do we want to raid Erica Shantae? Erica's back. Yeah, let's do it. I think Olive was cleaning and stuff. I think that's why she wasn't here.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
What'd I do?
Oh, nothing. I was saying I think you were cleaning and stuff, which is why you weren't like here. I was saying I was making sure if you were or not so that I can.
Oh yeah, no, I was cleaning.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, go ahead and drop me.
Okay, I love you.
I love you. See you later. Bye bye.
Can we get Erica's name put in there so that we can do that? Is she on? She's on YouTube. I don't know that I have her though. Let's look for her. Let's look for Erica Shantae so I can send them on YouTube too. Do I really not have her? Is she underscore over there too, or is it just space? I know she is on YouTube. I just don't know what her name is. Help. Hold on. We're going to do this. We can do it, guys. Let me go over here. Okay, it's just one word altogether. Let's see if I can find her. Why can't I find you? What if oh yeah, I'm subscribed. Why is she not showing up in my thing? Why? Hold on. We're going to do this. No. I'm mad that she's not coming up. Unless she doesn't have redirects on. Oh, her live is set. Okay, privacy settings. Okay, never mind. Okay, so what I'm going to do is YouTube and Twitch. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate it. I could see that even though we might disagree on things, we can be honest with each other on my side. So I appreciate that. So YouTube and Twitch. I will see you guys tomorrow on tomorrow, Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I will see you whether you like to watch or you hate watching